welcome into Bombers Live here on ICTV, where the Empire 8 Championship matchup is all set for you guys between the Ithaca Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals. The Ithaca Bombers come into today with a 22-4 overall record as opposed to St. John Fisher's 20-6 record, so it should be a great Empire 8 matchup today. I'm Matt Rehev, and alongside me is Steve Alteri. Now, obviously, Steve, a huge matchup today. But wait, let's go back to last night in the semifinal matchups that we had. In the first game, you had Ithaca and Nazareth. Obviously, Ithaca take that win 72-53. What were some of the keys that you look at for them to go get that win last night?
Well, some of the biggest keys for Ithaca in that matchup was Francesca Kachouk inside. She was dominant with 19 points and 15 rebounds. Also, you look off the bench, you had Alex Gilligan put in work, but Kachouk 19-15 rebounds, 72-53 victory for the Bombers. Ali Rashidi also added in 11 points and 4 rebounds as well.
And another thing that you got to look at, Steve, in that matchup was for Nazareth. Their largest lead was only by 1 point in that game, and Ithaca really just was able to take over the second half and really dominate in that game. That just showed a lot of improvement for Ithaca, and it showed a lot of great signs for them to go forward and get into this game today.
Exactly. Ithaca came out strong last night and continued going well. They won by 19 points in this matchup, and it was really what they wanted to look for starting out this Empire 8 tournament as the #1 seed.
And of course, the second matchup last night between Stevens and St. John Fisher was a really great matchup early on in that game. And then you got to look at them overall as a whole. Very close matchup in that game for the first half. But really, St. John Fisher was able to dominate in the second half, going 44 as opposed to 28. So they really just built off a great first half and just continued going forward.
Well, definitely a 75-61 victory for St. John Fisher. Mary Kate Cusack had 24 points. Portia Velasco, the senior captain guard, with 16 points and 5 rebounds as well. And that really led the St. John Fisher team to victory. Those two led them, especially in that second half run you mentioned, to really have a good victory last night to get them to play today against the Bombers.
And for St. John Fisher, this will be the first time they're playing in the Empire 8 Championship since 2005-2006 when they defeated Elmira in that game. So a little bit of a foreshadowing for them going forward today against the Ithaca Bombers. But what were some of the keys that you look at? Obviously, you had a great overall performance by St. John Fisher in the second half. But what were some of the things that you were able to take away from that game for St. John Fisher to really help them get that win?
Well, definitely it was their defense. You see the way they came out in that second half. Stevens could not score the ball. They looked lost on the offensive end. And St. John Fisher also, those two senior guards, we'll be talking about them all pregame because they were so good last night. And Portia Velasco and Mary Kate Cusack dominating in that second half, scoring points for St. John Fisher Cardinals. Now,
as we take a look at the updated women's bracket here for the Empire 8 tournament, obviously Nazareth and Stevens were knocked off last night. And today you got the table set, Steve. You got Ithaca and you have St. John Fisher. Really should be an exciting matchup for that heralded Empire 8 crown. And obviously the winner today is going to go on to get that NCAA Division III championship automatic bid. So should be interesting to see how that fares out.
Well, it's all on the line today. And for this Ithaca Bombers team, their group of seniors have won 3 Empire 8 championships. If they win today, they would be the first time in Ithaca women's basketball history that all 4 years a group won the Empire 8 championship.
So potential history could be made here at Ben Light Gymnasium. But we're going to take a quick break here on Bombers Live. But stay tuned as we'll have a lot more pregame action coming up right after the break here on ICTV. Championship Saturday here on Bombers Live between the Ithaca Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals. The winner is going to go home Empire 8 champion. I'm Matt Rahem, and alongside me is Steve Altieri. And Steve, the first time these two teams played this season, go back to January 6th when Ithaca was able to get that win over St. John Fisher, 79-69. And a couple key things that you look at in that game, they're able to shoot 47% from the field goal range, and they were able to get a great three-point shooting as well, over 50%. So very team-oriented game for the Ithaca Bombers in that game. And really, you saw a lot of things that you could be impressed about for the Ithaca Bombers against the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, they were definitely very impressive in that matchup. They were up 10 points at halftime and ended up winning the game by 10. We saw them play very good defense, especially against those two guards for St. John Fisher. But the biggest key for that game was they blew the game open to start off the second half. They got a big lead early in the second half, and that just kept going, and they reeled that to victory in that matchup.
And Steve, another thing that you got to look at was the rebounding for Ithaca. They were able to get a 20-point advantage over St. John Fisher, 47-27. Could that possibly be something that we see out here today?
Well, that's a huge thing for the Bombers in that first matchup, and Francesca Katrup, Gina Brady, they could definitely do that once again in this matchup because St. John Fisher doesn't have the height to match up with the Bombers, and the Bombers are once again always strong inside in the paint, and they're going to try to keep it going today in this championship matchup.
And of course, these teams are very familiar with each other. You go back to January 24th as well. The St. John Fisher Cardinals were able to come out of that game victorious over the Ithaca Bombers in that game, 54-49. And a lot of key things that you look at in that game as well. Ithaca led at the half, 28-25. But really, when Fisher came out there in the second half, they were able to go on a 14-0 run. Really just blew things open there in the second half to get them that win.
Well, that was definitely a tough game for the Bombers. That's their one loss in Empire 8 play this season. And really, they want to come out and give a different performance than they did in that one. The biggest stat that I took away from that game was the second half, the Ithaca Bombers shot 5 of 33 from the field. That is unheard of for Ithaca. That's not something that we've seen at all this year in the past couple years. And St. John Fisher, we saw last night them with that strong second half performance. If they can play good defense again today, this might be a tough day for the home crowd and the Bombers.
And another thing you got to look at in a big game like this is the free throw shooting. Obviously, St. John Fisher had that advantage, 10 for 11 from the free throw line as opposed to Ithaca's 10 for 16. But today, it's really all that matters, the game today. The Ithaca Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals, Empire 8 championship. Steve, I want to know, Ithaca's coming into today on a streak, obviously winning 9 of their past 10 games. But that one loss came against the St. John Fisher Cardinals going back to January 6th. So what do you think they need to do here today to really come out here and get this win?
Well, they got to come out strong. This team hasn't been tested too much lately because of the competition they've played. They had a 104-47 victory over Ithaca. That was their biggest victory, but they had a lot of other ones very similar to that, which is a double-edged sword. If they fall behind, if they face tough competition, we'll see if they can be able to recover, play hard, and keep their composure in this game.
If you're head coach Dan Raymond, what's your game plan today going up against Portia Velasco and Mary Kay Cusack, two players you saw them just explode from three-point range last night against the Stevens Ducks?
Well, you said it right there. Those two exploded last night, and it's a tough job for Coach Raymond and this Ithaca Bombers team if they can be able to stop them. What I would do, play man-to-man, try to figure out a way to stop them and give good help defense. You're a good defensive team if you're the Bombers. You've got help defense inside. All you got to do is play to your strengths.
And now we talked about Coach Dan Raymond, but over on St. John Fisher, there's a lot of team with a lot of depth as well. Two teams that use their bench a lot overall in this season. But which coach do you think has the upper hand going forward here today with all the players that they're able to utilize?
Well, the familiarity we have with Coach Dan Raymond obviously gives us a bigger view for him because he from the beginning of the season has done a strong job of playing all his players. And we saw last night Alex Gilligan for the Bombers knock down shots. We've got Ithaca's got bench players that can play strong and do well, and you got to give a credit to Dan Raymond for that, and he's going to do that again today.
And you talk a lot about Portia Velasco and Mary Kay Cusack, but who else on this St. John Fisher roster do you think needs to step up? Obviously, you have players like Sydney Bloomstein, a couple key contributors. Who else do you think really needs to step up for the St. John Fisher Cardinals team today?
Well, you kind of sold me out there, because the one person I was going to mention was Sydney Bloomstein. She's a big part for this team, and especially in this game, trying to defend against Francesca Katroop inside, grab rebounds. She's going to be a big factor for St. John Fisher in this matchup.
All right, guys, well, that's all we have right now for pregame, but stay tuned as Alex Barth, Dan Budick, and Allie Crewman will bring you all the action between the Ithaca Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals. Empire 8 Championship game right here on ICTV.
Years ago, this gym looked a lot different. The walls were bright lime green. There were only bleachers on one side, and the floor was worn from years of use. Back then, the Bombers won their first of what would be 3 consecutive Empire 8 titles. Today, they look for the 4th as the senior class looks to sweep. I'm Alex Barth alongside Dan Budick, bringing you the 2015 Empire 8 Women's Championship basketball game here on ICTV and Bombers Live, as the Ithaca College Bombers, like we mentioned, looking for the sweep. Their opponent today will be the St. John Fisher Cardinals. And Dan, last night, impressive performance from both these teams. You got to say they're both coming in hot.
Both teams coming in very hot, Alex. We saw a St. John Fisher team dominate a second half against Stevens. They gave Ithaca their only Empire 8 conference loss of the year, the one blemish in Empire 8 play for the Bombers this year. They're going to come out looking to win.
That one loss, do you think that motivates the Bombers as playing the only team they've beat them, or does it motivate the Cardinals to say, hey, we've beat these guys before, we can do it again?
No, I think it motivates the Bombers. That one blemish, they know that that's one blemish, and they want to get some revenge today.
All right, we will be back with the starting lineup. So real quick, we are going to toss it down to the floor for the opening announcements and your national anthem.
Featuring the Cardinals of St. John Fisher College and the Ithaca College Bombers. And now would you all please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
There we have it. Could it be the last national anthem we will hear at Ben late this season as we get ready for the starting lineups as the teams trot out on the floor? Dan, your big picture look at these teams' top fives.
Well, I think when you look at Ithaca, I think you look at Allie Raschuti. She's been so dominant for the Bombers this year, leading them in scoring. It's really been a counteractive, as the guys talked about in the pregame. They're so deep. They use everybody on their bench. Whether it's Allie Raschuti, who's just mentioned right now, who leads the team in scoring, or Erin Ferguson off the bench, who comes in and gets big rebounds and able to dish it out and sets up some three-point shots. I think it's very, very important for the Bombers to get off quick today, but I think both starting fives are pretty equal. They both can get the basketball. They both can shoot.
And they will alternate starters today as it is the championship game. So we'll start with the St. John Fisher starters. Captains Portia Velasco and Sydney Bloomstein leading off. The Empire 8's leading scorer, Mary Kate Cusack at the other guard. Mackenzie Bezin and Bridget Carney from Averill Park, New York, rounded off the Bombers. You can see right here, Allie Raschuti, Kerry Steele, Francisca Katroop, Allie Minich, and Sam Clee started the majority of the games this year for the Bombers. And it's the case of star power versus a balanced offense. Dan, we've seen the Bombers this year go up against leading some of the top scorers in the Empire 8. They seem to leave them alone. They come out and play their game. They say, we'll let this person get their points. We're going to limit everybody else, and that's how we're going to play our game. But 2 top scorers in the Empire 8 today. Portia Velasco at 15 points per game, and then Mary Kay Cusack leading the conference near 17. Does that style work for the Bombers today?
Well, I think it does, and if you look at Portia Velasco and Mary Kay Cusack 24 points yesterday in the win over Stevens. Portia Velasco 16 points in the win, and really big factors in that second half. Remember, they were down by 2 going into halftime and just dominated that second half on all aspects against Stevens.
Last time these teams faced off, it was Velasco and Cusack doing most of the damage in a 54-point performance from Fisher. Velasco with 18, Cusack followed up with 17. Nobody else in the double digits for Fisher. Meanwhile, for the Bombers, as you would expect, the balanced attack despite the loss. Rashudi with 12 points. Steelenko Troop followed her up with 7. You're going to look at most of your scoring coming from the starters, with the exception of Alex Gilligan. Let's talk about her last night for the Bombers. Came in off the bench. She is the de facto 6th man. Hit a couple of big threes, and that's what she does. She comes in. Dan Raymond's going to give her the green light, and she is going to shoot. So far this year, she's been pretty on, shooting 36% from deep. That's where most of her shots come from. Just as a point of reference, her how little she goes to the lane. She shot her first 2 free throws of the season last night in the first round of playoffs. What do you make of Alex Gilligan? Do you think we're going to see a lot of her today?
Well, I definitely think we'll see a lot of her, only because of the way Coach Dan Raymond utilizes his bench. He uses every player on the bench. Last night, they were going deep into their bench midway through the first half. He has trust in everyone, and I think you mentioned it. He's not afraid to give Alex Gilligan that green light to pull up and take a 3 if need be.
And these are 2 teams that will both run deep, unlike the Bombers' opposition last night, Nazareth, who only used 8 players in the whole game, versus the Bombers' 13. As we now get ready for the tip, it will be Francesca Kotrup jumping off against Bridget Carney. We would like to welcome those of you watching on ICTV, on Time Warner Cable, as well as those of you watching online across the country and around the globe into Ben Light Gymnasium. The Empire 8 Final for 2015. Ithaca and St. John Fisher is underway. Francisco Kotrup has the tip, and away we go. Sam Klee gives it to the near side of the Bombers. Now, there was no time for laundry between last night and today, so the Bombers in their road blues, while Fisher in their home whites. The Bombers there drawing the foul. We'll go left to right across your screen. Fisher again in the white, going right to left.
And I think early on, you see Kerry Steele getting to the line, and I think that's what she likes to do. She likes to get physical underneath the basket and drive into the lane.
She had a rough game last night. Did not shoot well from the field, so to see her getting started early, knocks down her first free throw, is big. Steele very efficient from the line, up over 75%, which is towards the top on the team. And now bringing the ball up is St. John Fisher. They can get the ball to Cusack right away. Cusack moving to her right now is to pull up. Guarded by Klee. Now Klee on the switch. Now it's Rashudi. Ball near side to Velasco. Velasco driving and draws the foul. So early on, each team will go to the line.
You know, I think you mentioned that Kerry Steele didn't have the best game shooting. Only had 7 points. But I think one thing she's done all year is even when she's not there shooting, Alex, she contributes. 10 rebounds for the Bombers last night, so contributed in an aspect to the win.
10 rebounds from the guard position, too. Very impressive. As the first one is good. You hear that little clanging off the rim. That's one of the new innovations this year on Bombers Live. We have microphones taped up behind the glass. You get that full rim sound, part of the full experience. You know, I was talking to some of the players earlier. They were intrigued. They're like, "What's that little black dot on the back of the backboard?" They were having a good time with that. As Fisher begins the press, now Ithaca gets the ball up half court through it. It's Ali Rashudi, looks to go to lane. Now kicks it back. Open 3. Kerry Steele, no good near side rim. And Fisher coming the other way. We're tied at 19:24 to go in the first half of the 2015 Empire 8 Championship. It's Cusack, switches back to her left from her right, now kicks it back out Velasco. Fakes right now, goes left, up underneath. That is good over Ali Minich. Portia Velasco getting to the basket.
And you can see early on when Ali Rashudi's getting that ball and coming into the lane, she picks up that double team before it lets Samantha Klee pretty open to take a shot.
Velasco, there's not much you can do defensively in terms of putting her on a weak part of the floor. She shoots 47% from the field, 43 from deep, 80% from the line, as we have a turnover there by the Bombers. So you're really not going to, even if you want to put her to the line, that's not going to go. If you let her shoot from just about anywhere on the floor, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah, and I think Stevens found that out the hard way last night in the second half. She was just, they're pretty much their catalyst when scoring the basketball in the second half of play last night.
16-5 last night for Velasco's after the foul on Sam Klee. It's Fisher with the ball again. That one's kicked back. Bloomstein for 3. Sydney Bloomstein, one of 2 senior captains, along with Portia Velasco, gets that one to drop, and suddenly the Bombers find themselves in a 4-point hole early.
The Bombers not necessarily been down that much this year. Interesting to see how they'll come back early on and only down by 4 points.
Here, Francesca Cotroop. They're going to get the ball to Cotroop when they feel threatened. That's kind of what the Bombers do. She drew the double team there and traveled. Bombers looking rattled here early. 18:15 to go in the first half. 6-2 Fisher lead. Hesitating right, now moving left is Cusack. Draws the double team. Gets it out to an open Bloomstein. That one's no good. Rebound Cotroop. Bombers pick up the stop there. Now they're coming back the other way. It's Steele. Tries to drop it back to Klee. Pass is deflected by Velasco. Now getting it back. Now it's Minich on the near side. Minich driving, lays it up. No good off the far side rim. Bombers cannot get a look they want right now. Velasco, pull-up jumper from the block. No good. Offensive rebound Fisher. Bombers are having some trouble keeping up right now with the Cardinals. That three's no good deep from Cusack. Rebound Ithaca.
Yeah, and I think the Cardinals showing early on here, they're not afraid to pull up and take a three. That one a very deep three.
There's the lob inside to Cotroop. Gives it right away. It's going to be 1-on-none. Cusack breaks the defense, lays it up, and in with the foul. St. John Fisher going up early as Mary Kay Cusack goes coast to coast. She ran right by 2 defenders, Dan.
Yeah, very quickly by Mary Kay Cusack. And talk about being in the right place at the right time. It was thrown right to her, and she was able to get up and draw the foul and get it in.
So we're up here on the 3rd floor of Ben Light. Going down Jim's side, we have the 3rd member of our team, Allie Crewman. Allie.
Thanks, guys. I had a chance to talk to Coach Dan Raymond before the game started, and he said his players need to keep composure and confidence when they're playing on the court. Last time they played the Cardinals, they missed a couple shots, went into a downward spiral that eventually led to their first conference loss. We'll see if the Bombers can keep that confidence up tonight and earn an E8 title. Back up to you guys.
Foul right there on Mackenzie Bezin, but looks right now as if the Bombers could be falling into the same trap. Meanwhile, we have a minute. Bombers, obviously, with the win today, or St. John Fisher, whoever wins, will get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Ithaca currently 3rd in the region, according to D3Basketball.com. St. John Fisher 5th. Number 1 in the region is Geneseo. They're at Cortland today. Off the 3. That one is good from Sam Klee. Geneseo's in Cortland today. They currently lead 12-8 in the first half, so a loss by Geneseo would be big for both these teams. Meanwhile, NYU 2nd. They will be in Massachusetts tomorrow as they take on Brandeis University. The step-back 3 is good for Mary Kay Cusack.
And early on
Fisher
here,
answers.
And early on here, Alex, Mary Kay Cusack really being that prototypical offensive weapon for St. John Fisher, being able to pull up and take a few threes.
Klee dribbles between her legs, tries to get it over to Raschuti. Ball is knocked away, and despite the Fisher fans' protest, it will remain Ithaca ball. As we have our first sub of the day, Nicole Robinson is going to check in for Bridget Carney.
And I think one thing you see here early on from St. John Fisher is they look excited, they're jumpy, they're playing very physical early on. They're excited to be here.
Sam Klee gives over to Minich. Minich thinks about the 3, now steps in, creates a little bit of space, back rim, no good. Rebound Fisher. Here come the Cardinals. It's Cusack running the point, calling out a play, gets a pick to her left, hesitates, now moves left, tries to find the lane, drops it back. The up fake is good. Nicole Robinson freshen off the bench. Dan Raymond has to take a timeout, and he is not happy, Dan.
Yeah, early on here, the Ithaca's defense really caught off guard. Maybe looks like they came out a little slow, maybe a little sluggish. You just see the replay here. Nicole Robinson, nifty move to get to the basket and lay it in, forcing Dan Raymond to take a timeout. But it looks like Ithaca defensively, Alex, kind of on their heels, a little slow coming out. St. John Fisher, definitely not the case there. Like I said before, very excited, very jumpy, and they're playing physical.
You saw the look on Cotroop's face after she bit that up fake. She's been playing defense here for a long time. Not many get her like that. We'll see if she takes that as a bit of a lesson down the road for the rest of the game. Well, see Fisher all smiles as they find themselves up. They're 3 seed in this tournament. They upset Stevens last night.
Now remember, they got off to a very slow start against Stevens last night. Like I said in the pregame, trailed by 2 going into halftime, but completely dominated the second half. Ended up blowing out Stevens.
How about this for a slow start? Fisher, 63% from the field, 5-8. Meanwhile, the Bombers only half as many shots, 25%. They're 1 for 4. They're not even getting the shots up. When they do, they're having trouble getting them to fall. Now it's Sam Klee, go to the basket, draws the double team, rims out, no good. Offense rebound being fought over, and a foul down there on Gina Brady, who just checked into the game. Not sure about that one if we can get another look. Contact looked to be limited. And now checking into the game, London Cunningham will replace Sydney Bloomstein.
And both these teams get a lot of contributions from players off their bench house. I think that's why both these teams are here. They're very deep. They utilize all the players on their roster.
Meanwhile, we talked about the shot maker earlier, Alex Gilligan. She's getting ready to check into the game. Dan Raymond may be looking to get some perimeter shooting going. The Bombers, you wouldn't exactly say they live and die by the three, but it's definitely something that they focus heavily on. It's a big part of their game, as there's the floater from Cusack over Ali Rashidi. And the Bombers now down at 11. Threes would really help them out, especially with Portia Velasco now getting ready to check back into the game. Klee, the crossover, dumps it inside. Sam Klee going to, or sorry, Kerry Steele going to the basket from Sam Klee. Doesn't get it to fall, but she'll go to the line for the second time today. Let's take another look at this one. And there you see the contact from Nicole Robinson, left her feet. And it will be Steele, 2 shots. First one falls.
And I think one thing you see here is very similar to the last time these teams played on January 24th. Ithaca came out in the second half of that game against St. John Fisher at St. John Fisher. Very sluggish defensively. It cost them the ball game early on today. Very similar traits to that game.
16-7 now your score. We're about 5 minutes into this Empire 8 final game. You're watching on ICTV and Bombers Live. Alex Barth alongside Dan Budick and Mary Kay Cusack. There's a reason this girl, the leading scorer of the Empire 8, that's 11 points.
Yeah, she's been the catalyst for this team, like I said, and she is not afraid to pull up and take a 3 with a girl in her face. Very impressive shooting early on by Cusack.
How about that? Cusack beating the Bombers on her own, now 11-9, and even with the Rashidi basket, it's still Cusack. 1-on-5. Portia Velasco. Between the legs, now moving into the lane, kicks it back. Cunningham has nothing, she has to drop it back. That's Emily Pinciatti. Inside in the post, that one is no good from Cunningham, but a foul on the floor. And I believe that is going to go against Fisher, as we have a player slow to get up. That is London Cunningham.
Yeah, it looked like Cunningham hit the ground in her face, maybe even bounced off the court.
As she's holding either her mouth or her nose. They're going to call some trainers out. So make sure she is okay.
In the game for St. John Fisher, number 14, Sydney Bluestein.
Doesn't appear to be any teeth on the ground over there, so she should be all right.
Good
Probably
sign.
just a bruise. It's always a good sign when you get up and there's no teeth.
Yeah, absolutely, but it looked like just her, when she hit the ground, just maybe her face bounced right off that hard surface here at Ben Light.
Should be a couple players went down hard. And it's rare you see, though, that the player getting hurt is the one who's called for the foul. Just means aggressive play, which you'd expect between these two teams.
And early on, there's been complete aggression in a positive way by St. John Fisher.
It's Steele up top, looking to drop back to Gilligan, doesn't have it. Instead, she's going to go into the post. Now drops it back to Gilligan. Gilligan, the step back, now gets a pick, creates room, gives it over to Steele, doesn't take the 3. 13 on the shot clock. Steele coming around the top of the arc. Now dropping inside for Brady. Brady on the turnaround, that's good. Gina Brady puts the Bombers over double digits, now within 8. Meanwhile, Fisher running the floor. Velasco drops it back, teeing up the 3 ball, no good, front rim, tipped out of bounds, and that is going to be Bomber ball. Pia Santini was the one who missed the 3.
And I think going the other way on the Gina Brady mid-range jumper, you really like what you see as far as the Bombers starting to facilitate the ball around the court a little bit, setting up shots for their players.
And we have a timeout now. Gina Brady, big cut, it appears, on her elbow. Of course, if you are bleeding, you have to come out. Not sure how she got that. But Erin Ferguson's going to check in quickly to this game. Brady looks to be fine. They're going to tape her up. Allie Minich, Allie Crewman will be down there. Allie Minich on the bike, and she's had a knee injury. And now Gina Brady. So Allie Crewman will get us updates as they come in. No sign of London Cunningham on the bench after she went down earlier. So clearly the physicality is real here, Dan.
Yeah, a couple injuries early on, a couple players have to be taken out.
Gilligan, near side, tries the jab step, doesn't work. Aggressive defense, gives it to Rashidi. Rashidi tries splitting the lane, lays it up and in. Ali Rashidi and the Bombers, who would have thought the guards playing inside is what's bringing them back in this game. Now Fisher running the floor, that layup's no good. Rebound fought off of, and it's saved by Ali Rashidi, gets it off to Gilligan, splits the defense. Over to the near side, it's Jordan Beers now in the game, laying it up off the high glass and in. Bombers back within 4.
And we're starting to have a run and gun show the last couple possessions, Alex. You see Ithaca, Ali Rashudi doing such a great job on the other end of setting up her own shots and making it happen for Ithaca.
These teams first and second in scoring, as we have a jump ball. It's going to stay with Fisher. These teams are first and second in scoring in the conference. And while they do both have high field goal percentages, a lot of it's a product of just a fast-moving offense. You're getting up a lot of shots. You're having a lot of possessions. Meanwhile, Mary Kay Cusack checked back in the game. She's on the top side of your screen. She sets the screen there for Bloomstein. No good. Ferguson going to the rebound. Goes to the floor. Saves it, but part of her was out of bounds. Maybe her leg had slid out. To remain Fisher ball, but a great effort play there by Erin Ferguson. As again, Dan, the physicality, bodies hitting the floor, elbows being thrown. Both teams really want this title.
And this is something I noticed last night, too, from Erin Ferguson. Very aggressive, and there were a couple of times there were jump balls that she grabbed for and forced the jump ball, and the possession went Ithaca's way. She's very aggressive when the ball's on the court.
Velasco going to the basket, no good. But it's going to be Ferguson on the foul. Looks like she thought she had her feet set. She kind of stood there, posed for a little bit. Meanwhile, Gina Brady has her elbow taped up. She returns to the bench. First one is good from Velasco. Shoots nearly 80% from the line. And before we get the second free throw, we throw it down now to Allie Crewman. Allie.
Thanks, guys. Like you said, Gina Brady was out, just a little cut injury. She seems to be fine going back in. They've repaired it fine. But as you said before, Allie Minich is on the bike right now, rehabilitating her knee, biking slowly. So hopefully she gets back into the game as well. Back up to you guys.
And that would help the Bombers a lot to have Allie Minich back. I'm thinking back to one game against the Stevens Ducks earlier this year where the Bombers didn't score for 10 minutes in the first half. They're having a lot of trouble. They couldn't even get above double digits. With about 2 minutes to go, Minich on 3 straight possessions hits 3 threes to give the Bombers a 1-point lead going into halftime. She can be that spark, and offense is getting better now, but still struggling here. They love to have that spark plug back in. As we now have a delayed stoppage, they're going to mop up the floor. It looks like the Fisher players are unhappy with the floor as they're showing specifically where they want it mopped up.
And I think one thing you talk about Allie Minich, a big spark plug off the bench. She could take some shots. She could drive to the lane. And it's very important for the Bombers to get her back. Obviously, Allie just mentioned she should be back in the game relatively soon. That's a huge addition, back onto the court for the Bombers.
It looks like maybe there's a player bleeding on the floor. Maybe this is from Gina Brady earlier, as they're going to have a trainer come out with a gloved hand to wipe it up.
Yeah, it looks like there is some blood on the court, so obviously a trainer has to come out with the glove and pick it up accordingly.
In a couple spots. I'm going to guess that's from Brady earlier, but we've had, or possibly when you had Cunningham come back out after hitting her mouth. Meanwhile, she's back on the floor, standing back in the Cardinals' defensive zone. But she has returned, face a little red, but besides that, she looks fine. Meanwhile, number 1 seed in the Eastern ranking right now, Geneseo, has an 8-point lead over Cortland, 26-18, right down Route 13 here in upstate New York. 5:52 left to go in the first. Again, these teams 3 and 5, Ithaca and Fisher respectively, in those rankings when it comes to Selection Monday, which will be this Monday at 2:30 on NCAA.com. It's going to matter where your regional ranking is in terms of who hosts, who ends up playing where. So both of these teams would love a loss. Number 2 is NYU. They will be at Brandeis tomorrow down in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's why this is such a big game for both teams. It matters where you end up seeding-wise, and it really depends on where you come out. Like you mentioned, you win this game, you get that automatic bid to the NCAAs. It's a huge game because both teams want that automatic bid. They don't want to have to wonder whether they're going to get in on Selection Monday.
As we have a stoppage here, almost at the end of the first quarter, as it would be with the clock, 12:45 to go, 20-15. They have music coming in. And maybe, unfortunately, some of the blood fell on those white volleyball lines, so it's that much easier to identify. And, of course, this is something you have to be very careful with, as they're still trying to clean the court up. I think
we're
they're
finally
ready
to go.
It's ready for play now, but, power outage in the Super Bowl, rain delay in baseball. Who is one team going to be benefited or maybe really hurt by that stoppage in play? As just to remind you, Velasco now her second of 2 free throws. She made the first after drawing a foul.
Well, I don't think so. Relatively short 5-6 minute delay. I don't think it's going to have like a huge issue as if like a rain delay on a pitcher in baseball, but it's finally good to get the play back. They took care of the blood on the court.
20-15 the score as Velasco misses the second. Now it's Kerry Steele draws the double team. Looks at Fisher's in a trap. Now gets the ball back. How about that little bit of passing from the Bombers? It's a one-possession game.
Yeah, again, Erin Ferguson coming off the bench, and she's in the middle of everything for the Bombers, being able to facilitate the ball in there.
Cusack now going to the bucket, draws the double. Velasco tries the crossover, can't get inside. And a travel right there on London Cunningham back into the game after the injury.
A little too quick there with her feet before she could get that dribble down.
2017, 12-10 to go. Gilligan gets the sign from Coach Dan Raymond. Has the ball knocked away, he's going to let it go out of bounds and remain Bomber ball, 20 left on the shot clock.
I got to tell you what, Mary Kay Cusack, she's in the middle of everything here for St. John Fisher. It's defending balls, she's getting her hand in there on reaches to poke it out. She's really been everywhere on the court for St. John Fisher early on here.
How about Cusack? Not only the best offensive player in the E8, but she's up there defensively as well. 3.3 steals a game, only turns the ball over once a game, as Gilligan gets it to go from the corner. That's why they put her in to do just that. We're tied. Now it's Fisher running the other way. Velasco, the underhand layup, no good, way too high off the glass. Erin Ferguson have it. We have a player down behind it. The Bombers 5-on-4. Now 2-on-2. Allie Raschuti to the basket. Defense closes. She draws the foul. Bombers have a chance to go up.
Yeah, right there, Allie Raschuti, tremendous job getting into the basket. And you could see just the last 4 or 5 minutes before the delay and after the delay, how fast the pace has picked up in this game. Really shooting it down. Both teams with positive advantages going up the court, whether it's been a 2-on-1, which would happen right there for Allie Raschuti.
And remember, we mentioned earlier, Ithaca started 1 for 4. Since then, they are 6 of 7. Plus, they've gotten to the line a couple times. So something has clicked for the offense. I'm not exactly sure what it is, whether it was a substitution or something Dan Raymond said. The Bombers are back to them old selves, and we could find ourselves in a shootout here. Raschuti, the second one up. No good off the back rim. Rebound is hit out of bounds by Erin Ferguson.
And it was really after Coach Raymond took that timeout. They were down by 9 or 10 points. Took that timeout, regrouped. Ithaca's really had control of the game and has settled in defensively and have played their type of game offensively ever since then.
Here comes Velasco. Keep an eye on Cusack. She is on the wing on the near side of your screen. Velasco gets the ball. Now goes baseline. Puts it up. No good for mid-range. Looked like she was going to drive and almost hesitated putting up that jumper. Now here comes the freshman. Jordan Beers going to cue up from 3. No good. Looking for the transition. Now Fisher's going to have numbers. It's 4-on-3. There's the spin move. Dropping it back. Now going to the basket and laying it high up the board. And no good is Emily Pincietti. This is the first Bomber lead since they were up 2-1 early. Kerry Steele from 3. No good. Rebound Fisher. Now nobody can hit. Velasco looks to Cusack. Cusack thinks about queuing it up, doesn't do it. Velasco moves near side, drops in off the pick and roll. That ball's lost. Picked up underneath. Layup is good from London Cunningham.
And I think
now it's Fisher back in the lead.
And I think it's very important for St. John Fisher right now to slow the pace offensively when they have possession. No need to run and gun. No need to keep up with Ithaca's pace because you got to get the momentum back. They had momentum early on. They lost it. Starting to pick it up right now.
No good from Kerry Steele. Now it's Fisher running the other way. Cunningham gets the ball, gives it to Cusack. Now gets it back, going baseline, drives on Erin Ferguson, and a charge. Great defensive play by Erin Ferguson. The Bombers get the ball back.
Yeah, Erin Ferguson right underneath being able to draw that charge. Just got there right before Cunningham got in there and obviously forcing the charge.
Claire Walsh checks into the game for the Cardinals. Meanwhile, it's still Gilligan in at the point for the Bombers. 10-10 to go. We're about halfway through the first half of this Empire 8 title game. 22-21, Cardinal lead. Raschuti gets it to Beers. The freshman dribbles behind her back. And a foul on Portia Velasco.
And I just think, talking about Portia Velasco a little bit, you could see early on how this offense really runs through her and Cusack. They pretty much touch the ball almost every possession, which is a good thing. Can hurt you a lot, but so far today has really been a plus for them.
It'll be Jordan Beers stepping to the line. Meanwhile, Bridget Carney, who we haven't seen much despite being in the starting lineup, checks into the game. She's on the low block on the near side, number 24. As Beers puts the first one up and through. Sorry, that was... Or no, she does get 2 shots. Cardinals not really sure what's going on. All the players ran back.
Yeah, it looks like there was St. John Fisher just lost count of the shots right there.
Jordan Beers now with her second shot. They can rush on this one, puts that one up, and good. Bombers take the lead back, 23-22, under 10 to go in the first half. Cardinals looking underneath, there's a pick. Over to Cusack, open for three. She takes it off the screen, no good front rim. Alex Gilligan got picked off on defense. Shot no good, now here comes Ali Raschuti. Raschuti drops back, Gilligan from way back, no good. Rebound is loose, Ferguson's gonna try to save it. She gets to Raschuti, Raschuti clear lane to the basket, pulls up, no good but the foul. How about Erin Ferguson giving the Bombers a second chance?
Yeah, Erin Ferguson, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, she's in the middle of everything. When that ball is loose on the floor, you can almost guarantee Erin Ferguson's gonna be there or be in the vicinity of it to get that ball, and she kept that play alive, and if it wasn't for her, Ali Raschuti wouldn't be on the line right now.
We saw her dive for a ball in the other corner, across the floor defensively before. We saw her take the charge. Now she gets that. Meanwhile, Ali Minich stretching her knee out. She's getting ready to come back in the game. And it will be for the shooter, Ali Raschuti. So one Ali in, another Ali out.
You take out your leading scorer, but not really a downgrade, as Minich is averaging almost 9 points a game.
Carney on the near side gives it up. Now Cusack, far side wing. Hesitation dribble, pulls up from deep, no good. And rebound comes to Erin Ferguson. Bombers in their blue uniforms moving left to right. Cardinals in white moving right to left as that ball is jumped. Look at Cusack, stay in bounds, passes it over, lays it up, no good, but the foul on Ferguson. What a great athletic play from Mary Kay Cusack.
Yeah, it looked like she was going to step out of bounds towards the far side of the court, but able to tiptoe the sidelines, force it over to Piacini and get her to the basket to shoot, and then obviously getting to the free throw line.
Now you hear the fan section in the back of the bleachers stomping their feet as the first one is no good. Meanwhile, Gina Brady back in now for the first time since we saw her cut her elbow. You can see the wrap right there on number 15 on that right arm. We'll see what she can do. Second shot up and no good, short, barely got the rip. Bombers still with the lead, 25-22, 9 minutes to go. Gilligan gets over to Julie Iacovoni in the game for the first time. Now Minich. Crossover, goes to basket between two defenders, nothing. And a charge call on Minich. Good defensive stand there by the Cardinals. We now throw it down to the third member of our broadcast team, Ali Minich, as we wait at the line. Ali.
Thanks, guys. Now, these two teams have very different offense. IC has no top scorer, and they play a lot from the bench, while St. John Fisher, they have two high scorers, Mary Kay Cusack and Portia Velasco. As you guys have been saying, they're leading the game today. Bombers need to start playing from the bench more and start stepping it up if they want to stay in this game. Back up to you guys.
Ali Crewman, my apologies. Ali mentions at the line. There's too many Alis to keep track of today.
A lot
Dan.
in this game.
Meanwhile, the Bombers are now 10 for 12 from the line. Good day from the stripe, and that's definitely helping them here as they couldn't get it done offensively early from the field. They were able to draw fouls, and that's what kept them in this game until the offense could reemerge.
Well, a lot of times, you know, when you're struggling shooting, what do they tell you to do? Well, classic, the X's and O's of basketball. We'll get to the line. Maybe it can get you going offensively, and that's just what has happened here in the first half for the Bombers. Struggled scoring early on. What did they do? Drove to the basket, drew fouls, and it was able to trigger their offense a little bit.
Bombers now up 27-22, crowd getting into it. Minich on defense. And a traveling violation. Bombers get the ball back, and we have a timeout from the Cardinals. Wow, Dan, Bombers really putting something together in these last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and old momentum has turned towards the Bombers' way with 8:39 to go in this first half, Alex. It's been all Bombers the last 4 or 5 minutes, and you got to like what you see if you're head coach Dan Raymond.
Hey, it's been all Bombers this weekend. 3 basketball games. We had a tournament, couple lacrosse games as well. Women lacrosse kicked their season off today. The men playing #1 RIT. Did you miss any of it? Tune into ICTV's Sports Final Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. for a breakdown of this week in Tompkins County sports, covering everything from Cornell to Ithaca and all the high school sports in Tompkins County. Sports Final has everything you need to stay up to date on the local sports scene. You'll definitely see this one. Bombers game yesterday, like I mentioned, men's lacrosse playing #1 RIT. That was a great game earlier. Came down to the final couple of minutes. The women are actually in action right now as they open their season against Rochester. It's been tough to get games going here early in the spring. Outside, obviously with the snow inside, some roof problems here at Ben Light Gymnasium if you've caught that little yellow awning in the background of some of our shots, but nature's not going to keep the Bombers down, and apparently right now neither are the Cardinals, Dan.
No, the Cardinals just defensively early on, we praised them over the first 4 or 5 minutes of this game, how well they played defensively, how aggressive they were offensively. Well, the last couple of minutes they haven't really been playing that well defensively. They've let the Bombers get the best of them, whether it's been pulling up shots or going to the lane and fouling and putting the Bombers on the line, where they've done such a good job hitting their free throws thus far today. It's going to be interesting to see how St. John Fisher maybe changes what they're doing coming out from that timeout.
Well, don't count the Cardinals out. Head coach Marion O'Connor Ermey, in her 7th season at Fisher, she was an assistant coach for some years before that, but in all of her 7 years, the Cardinals have at least been in the Empire 8 tournament. They're no strangers to this scene. They're no strangers to the Bombers. It was the Bombers that knocked them out in the first round last year right here on this floor. Gina Brady underneath, up and in. Bombers continue to tack it on, now up 7.
And it doesn't look like that wrap on the arm of Gina Brady held her back right there. Nice middle move, spinning it into the basket.
Now on the near side, Bloomstein. Back to Cusack. Cusack to her right. Look at that quick first step as she gets it underneath. Gives it to Jess Roan. How about that quick first step, though, from Mary Kay Cusack?
She's been very impressive all day.
Jordan Beers step back in the lane, falls short. And it's Cusack again running the floor. Defended by Klee, moves to her right. Now it's Carney. There's the crossover, now back to Cusack. Crowd making noise. Cusack, the step back, gets separation, now goes in. The turnaround hook shot is good for Mary Kay Cusack as she continues to pile on. She's in double digits.
Yeah, Mary Kay Cusack, like we mentioned all broadcasts thus far, she has done such a nice job, resulting in a lot of those St. John Fisher points.
Minich pulls up, no good. Rebound to Cusack after it was fought over. Cardinals have numbers, 4 on 3. Defense catches up. Bloomstein back to Cusack, now looking in the corner. Now back to Cusack. Ali Raschuti getting ready to check in on the next whistle. Cusack gets a pick left, drops it back off the pick and roll. Inside, and a traveling violation against Bridget Carney, as the Cardinals have brought it within 1 possession, but right now having trouble closing. Out of the game comes Jordan Beers. Ali Raschuti checks in.
I got to tell you, a lot of traveling violations on St. John Fisher in Ithaca's end. This is like the 5th or 6th one thus far in the first half.
It's the freshman Erin Whoop now, running the point for the Bombers, drops it back to Gina Brady. Brady finds Raschuti. Hesitates, now picks up her dribble. Looking for the pass, gets it to Minich, loses control, back to Brady, drops it back to Raschuti. And that's going to be a foul on Gina Brady, a moving pick. Cardinals get the ball back, and somebody popped open, couldn't see who it was. Somebody popped wide open off that screen, though. Bombers probably would have had 2 if it's not for that foul. 17 fouls already for the Bombers. That's 17, T-E-A-M, not 17. 9 team fouls for the Cardinals. Very physical first half, as we still have over 6 to play. 3-point game, the Empire 8 championship. It's Cusack. Moves to her left, now tries to spin back. And a foul on Jordan Beers. She can't believe it. Or sorry, that's Erin Whoop. Mary Kay Cusack will go to the line. They break up the Bombers huddle in the paint, want to get these free throws off. Cusack shooting 74%. That one is good. That's her first. That puts her at 11 as we take another look at the foul. Let's see where the call is. And yeah, Whoop was still moving, it looks like.
Yeah,
the second one is good.
Just didn't set her feet enough. And nice job there on the offensive end by Cusack and being able to draw that foul.
Cusack already at 15 points. She's basically right at her season average, 16.8. Gina Brady gets open on the block. The jumper's good. Bombers back up 31-28, 6 minutes to go in the first half of the Empire 8 championship. Cusack's going to get a pick to her left. She goes right, step back, doesn't get enough space. Look at Erin Whoop all over the Empire 8 leading scorer, but she bumped her. That's going to be another foul on Whoop.
Yeah, great defense there by Erin Whoop, number 20. Got a little bit too aggressive, so to speak. You know, anytime you're up against Mary Kay Cusack, their leading scorer, averaging 16.8 points a game, you're going to get a little physical. Just got a little too touchy right there and drew the foul.
It's going to be 1-1 for Cusack here. First one is good. Meanwhile, Alex Gilligan comes back in. She will replace Whoop, who quickly got to 2 fouls. Second one from Cusack is good. Mary Kay Cusack now up right at her season average. Allie Raschuti gets the ball across half court on the, on the press. No good corner three from Allie Minich. That's when she normally hits. You got to wonder if the knee factored into that. Now the Cardinals running the floor. You got to wonder that ball. The Bombers must want that possession back. They had a 3-on-1 and did not score. Underneath, no good from Carney. Good defense there by the freshman Julie Iacovoni, the 5'10" freshman from Endwell, New York. Meanwhile, Raschuti tees up for three, no good. St. John Fisher with a big lineup right now around Mary Kay Cusack. Now going to the bucket, getting it to fall is Piateni. Now it's Gilligan. Gilligan pulls up, drops it back to Raschuti. Raschuti over to Iacovoni. Now Brady back to Raschuti, gets the pick left, step back, open, no good front rim. Rebound Cardinals.
And the Bombers have missed now 3 consecutive shots, 3 consecutive opportunities offensively, and St. John Fisher has come back and scored each time to take the lead.
And all looks like pretty good looks too. 4:50 to go in a 1-point game. Or sorry, in the first half of a 1-point game. Raschuti on defense, now the ball's moved over. There's the jumper, that one is good. Piacentini with a couple of baskets back-to-back for the Cardinals.
So you see here a couple times St. John Fisher running the floor, catching Ithaca a little off guard defensively with the way they're pushing their press, and they're coming into the basket.
Minich to the lane, gets it to go with contact. Bombers back within 134-33, 4:14 to go in the first half. Cusack calls out the play. Gives it to Carney. Now the ball swung back around to Cusack. Minich on defense. Here's the jab step, now moving to her left. Cusack switches back to her right. Open inside, but she's gonna kick it back. Carney, jumper from the logo, no good. Here come the Bombers with a chance to take the lead. Allie Minich, under 4 to go. Steps back, now gives inside to Brady. Brady, physical underneath, that shot is blocked. Bridget Carney now coming back for the Cardinals. Continuing to pick up the pace. Piacentini can't get it to go that time. Rebound Allie Raschuti. 3-on-3. Raschuti kicks it back. Minich now back to Raschuti. Open three. Good! Bombers lead. Timeout Cardinals. What a back and forth seesaw of a game.
Yeah, back and forth the last 2 or 3 minutes. You can see St. John Fisher coming back with 3 points. Ithaca was missing shots, and what did Ithaca do? They went back to their bread and butter, shooting the ball from 3-point range, facilitating the ball around the court, and you can see right here, great feed to Raschuti, who nails a three.
That great court vision, and just, that is a team that practices a lot. Minich didn't look back. She knew Raschuti was going to be there. She just knew. Incredible timing, incredible court vision, just teamwork by the Ithaca College Bombers as they're now back up to 36-34. 3:26 to go. This is the Empire 8 Championship on ICTV and Bombers Live. Alex Barth alongside Dan Budick, Allie Crewman down on the floor, getting all those sound bites that we can't hear up here. And as the Bombers will get the ball.
And you mentioned it, Alex, that look from Minich to Raschuti. Didn't even look, knew she was there. That just goes with being comfortable with your teammates and a lot of practice.
Sorry, the Cardinals with the ball off the restart. Raschuti 10 points today.
Right at her average.
Leads the Bombers. Game high is 14 for Mary Kay Cusack. Now in the post, turning around it, no good is Nicole Robinson. Rebound, Francesca Cotroop. We haven't seen much of her today, but she's someone who's going to need to step up if the Bombers want to pull ahead in this one. Gina Brady back to Cotroop. Now Raschuti. Raschuti to her right. Now gives it to Ferguson. Bombers with a big lineup. Ferguson and Cotroop both in. Now drops it back to Gilligan. Gilligan open for three. Got it! Bombers pull back ahead, now up 5, 39-34. 2:40 to go. They're loving it up in the student section in Bedlight.
And we said how important Alex Gilligan is off the bench, taking deep threes, and she did it right there.
Meanwhile, Mary Kay Cusack on the bench right now for Fisher. So we have a foul underneath. Possibly a chance for the Bombers to extend this lead. That foul's going to go on Ferguson again. Bombers now at 10, so double bonus for the rest of the half.
And you talked about Cotroop not being a huge factor thus far early through this game for Ithaca. Last night, a double-double for her. Interesting to see how she hasn't been an X factor thus far for the Bombers.
She is guarding Bridget Carney, who is one of the better low post players at 5'11", one of the bigger players in the Empire 8. Averages 6 and 5. She can be a handful underneath, so while we haven't seen Cotroop offensively, that doesn't mean we haven't seen her on defense. possibly she's so out of the game on defense because she's keeping her players so well covered. Second free throw, no good. Still at a 4-point game. Gilligan drops it back to Steele. Inside to Coach-Troop. There she is, wide open underneath. Misses the layup. Very uncharacteristic by Francesca Coach-Troop. She had all day and all the space. Just put it a little too hard off the glass. Meanwhile, Cardinals driving to the basket. No good off the bottom of the rim is Sydney Bloomstein. Cusack waiting to check back in. Ball drop back to Steele. Tees up the open three again. The Bombers from deep.
And you see
Bombers
now
over
Steele,
40.
And you see now Steele, Alex, set up by Raschuti for that three-pointer.
Suddenly a 7-point lead. Claire Walsh gets the defender to go up and can't do anything with it. Now down in the post, off the glass and in is Jessica Roan. Stops the bleeding a little bit. Now 5-point game. Bombers are sprinting though. Here comes Alex Gilligan. Drops it back to Steele. Steele to Ferguson. Ferguson inside of Coach-Troop. They're trying to get her going. Back to Steele. Thinks about the shot. Doesn't take it. Dribbles in the lane. A lot of contact. Ball comes to Coach-Troop. Now Ferguson from the free throw line. No good back rim. Rebound is Carrie Steele on the offensive glass. And she draws the foul. Carrie Steele going back to the line again. She's been there pretty much all night.
And Bombers right there. Clearly the more aggressive team in that sequence. You see Steele getting the rebound and fighting it up and being able to draw that foul from Walsh.
There you see the Spirit fingers up in the stands for the Bombers. Steele gets that one, or doesn't get that one to go, off back rim. Jordan Beers checks in for the Bombers. Meanwhile, you have Bridget Carney and Mary Kay Cusack checking in for the Cardinals. That one is no good. Rebound offensively comes to the Cardinals, and a big elbow thrown there.
Yeah, definitely not intentional. Claire Walsh just got that rebound, tried to swing it away, and her elbow just was thrown.
Double bonus, so the Bombers going back to line for two. And are they discussing about calling this a technical? We wait for the official call. It is going to come in underneath. Just strange because the Bombers are in the bonus. Raschuti the jumper. No good. Rebound comes to Cusack. She takes a big hit. And now Cusack should go to the line with both teams in the double bonus. Now Mary Kate Cusack, we saw another girl named Mary Kate come and light this gym up a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
Bombers, this is their first year without Mary Kate Tierney as she graduated. She is still here on campus as a grad student, but definitely looks a little familiar. MKC as opposed to MKT. Cusack puts the first one off the back rim, rare miss. Shoots 74% from the line.
And for a girl that scores so much, Alex, only averaging under 2 turnovers a game, she doesn't turn over the ball that much. Very efficient when the basketball's in her hands.
The steal to turnover ratio about 3-to-1 as well. Jordan Beers to the basket. She has Coach-Troop on the backside. Pass gets away from Coach-Troop, and she walks back down the floor clearly frustrated. Not a great night for Francesca Coach-Troop in what could be her last game at Ben Light Gymnasium.
Yeah, she looks a little out of sync right there. Not expecting the pass, kind of had her head up to the basket as opposed to looking at her teammate who was feeding her the bounce pass.
Meanwhile, the Cardinals have closed back within 4. After at one point it was a 7-point game. There's the pick from Cusack. Now looking for the pass up top. It's Pia Santini. Looks to dish, gets it back to Cusack. 8 on the shot clock. Cusack back to Pia Santini, the 3, no good front rim. Offensive rebound, no, it's loose, and it's Ali Raschuti coming up with it for the Bombers. 35 on the shot clock, 27 on the game clock. Give the ball back to Gilligan. Bombers gonna let this one run down. Raschuti now. Coach-Troop. Gilligan pulls up from deep. How about that?
Happens from time to time. Ball getting stuck up there between the rim and the backboard.
Just means you put a lot of force on it. Now they're waiting for somebody to come knock it out. They'll get another ball. And it's going to be Cusack. Can't get it. Gonna need another shot at this one.
There you go.
There it is. Easy for the top scorer in the Empire 8.
I think here with 14.4 seconds left, the Bombers are just going to focus on getting a good shot out. And you see them take the timeout right here. Slow it down, set up the pace, set up your perfect shot, and extend your lead going into the halftime.
Ball getting jammed in the rim actually works for the Bombers. It was a jump ball, so they'll get possession, turns the shot clock off. You get the last shot of the half. They can go into the locker room up as many as 7. Right now up 4, 14.4 to go. Another look at the student section. Football team out in big numbers today, showing their support. Already won Empire 8 championship on the South Hill as they went to the tournament. Lost in the first round to Hobart. Here looking for another set of black t-shirts to come to the South Hill. Well, we'll have that post-game, the award ceremony, in which they will come out and name the all-tournament team, tournament MVP, as well as officially crown the Empire 8 champion, give out those t-shirts. Steele open, she's gonna shoot right off the catch, no good. So Fisher's gonna get the last possession with 10 left. 8 seconds to go. Looking for the pass, drops back to Cusack with 5 to go. The crowd faked her out. She's still at 5 seconds. The crowd started counting early. In urgency, she put it up. And now the Bombers are gonna get the last shot with 2 to go. We'll see if they can get a good look off of it. And it's gonna be Raschuti, and she will just dribble the clock out. Bombers getting a little assist from up in the bleachers, and they'll go into the half up 4.
Yeah, the student section forcing Cusack to put it up. She didn't have her eyes on the shot on the game clock above the basket. And she put up a deep 3 with 5 seconds
That's
left.
a classic.
It is a classic. Not something you see all the time, but the student section getting into her ear.
Cusack shouldn't be too upset with herself, though. She does have a game-high 15 points. Meanwhile, for the Bombers, it's Ali Raschuti, a team-high 10. It's really just been a seesaw, Dan.
Yeah, it's been a seesaw for Ithaca and St. John Fisher thus far. And I think what you like to see if you're Ithaca and Coach Dan Raymond going into the locker room, you like the way your team rebound early on. You got off to a slow start offensively. St. John Fisher got off to a really quick start. What'd you do? Coach Raymond called that timeout with about 10, 11 minutes left in the half, slowed the pace down, and Ithaca really dominated from there on out, Alex. I like what I saw from Ithaca. Shooting the basketball, facilitating the basketball, Ali Raschuti setting up whether it be Steele, Aaron Ferguson coming in off the bench, and typically this Ithaca team, they're using their entire bench, they're using their entire roster, and it's helped them through that first half.
Just a reminder, stay with us at halftime. Matt Rahemba and Steve O'Terry will be back to break down the first half as well as preview the second. We're just waiting on Coach Dan Raymond. Ali Crewman will be with him in a minute. Dan, who needs to step up for the Bombers? I think I know the answer, but who needs to step up in the second half if they want to pull away?
Well, I think it's Francesca Katrup. I think she really needs to play a little better. And I'm not saying defensively she didn't. I think she did a lot of good things defensively. She was there. She able to guard she was able to guard Carney a lot through that first half. Offensively, though, if they want to win this game throughout the dog minutes of this game, 5, 6 minutes left in the second half. They're going to need her to come up with big shots. They're relying a little too much on their guards here. Not that it killed them thus far, but they're going to need Katrup to play like she did last night, having 15 and 10, a double-double.
Meanwhile, Dan Raymond still taking his time on the bench as we're waiting. We'll see this closer game. He'll stay on that bench for about 4 or 5 minutes before heading down to the locker room. Kind of let the players deal with it down there. Close game here. So.
Well, I think that's very interesting. I think he has a lot of faith in his team. And you mentioned letting Gilligan pull up and take a 3, and we talked about how he likes, letting players on his bench take control when they come into the game, and I think that the players like that. I got a chance to talk to Aaron Ferguson a couple of weeks ago, and Aaron told me, listen, Coach Raymond lets us do what we want, so to speak. Not like the inmates ruling the asylum,
right?
But to the point where he's very comfortable.
He trusts his senior leadership.
He trusts his senior leadership, and he trusts every girl on that roster when they're in there to make smart decisions, and I think the players really respond to
he
it.
knows what he's doing. 15th year out of Cortland. He was hired as a coach during his senior season for the Cortland women's team. Meanwhile, here at IC, he's almost at 300 wins. Talking over with Katie McDonough, whose husband's the assistant coach of the football team, as well as Kelsey Flory and his 2 assistants. Here he is now with their own Ali Crewman. Ali?
Coach Dan Raymond. Now, Coach, what are your initial thoughts on the first half of play?
Well, we dug ourselves a hole there early in the half. Couldn't get the stops that we needed to. Struggled offensively, but I was really proud of the way the kids kind of fought and held their composure. That was one of the things that we talked a lot about, was maintaining our composure, and they did a good job with that.
Now, pregame, you mentioned head scorer Mary-Kate Cusack. How are you looking to control her going in the second half?
She's just a really good player, so we're going to have to do the best we can to contest her and make her work for every shot that she gets. We can't keep fouling her, too. I mean, a couple times we had her stopped and then gave up cheap fouls that really hurt us. So that's the one thing. I mean, she's going to score. It's just making her work for those scores.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome.
Stay right here on Bombers Live as Matt Rahemba and Steve Altieri will have all the coverage on halftime. Stay with us. You're watching Bombers Live.
you're set to fake right and break left. Watch out for the pick and keep an eye on the fence. Gotta run the give and go, take the ball to the hole, and don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay. Just keep your head in the game. Just keep your head in the game, and don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay.
back into Bombers Live halftime show. The Bombers currently hold the 42-38 lead over the St. John Fisher Cardinals at the half. I'm Matt Rahman. Alongside me here is Steve Altieri. And Steve, a very exciting first half, really back and forth action in that game. But really, we saw Fisher go on a quick run early on. But once we saw Ithaca get those bench players in, that really made the difference for them to go out there and get on that run.
Yeah, definitely. Those bench players for Ithaca really stepped up in this first half, really making a huge impact in this game so far. On the other hand, St. John Fisher got on that huge run, but they couldn't keep it sustained, and now are down at halftime.
And also, you look at St. John Fisher, and they really started to go inside more on Ithaca, really started to see them utilizing those players, really finding players down low to get those open shots, and really, we're getting very aggressive there in the first half.
Yeah, especially at the very beginning, St. John Fisher was very aggressive, but now they're down 42-38, and the biggest impact for them has been Mary Kay Cusack. As you can see, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in that first half.
And you also look at Ithaca, they were able to get a lot of transition points from turnovers. They were getting a lot of foul opportunities going to the free throw line, and that could possibly be a key for them going forward. Free throw shooting, obviously, in a close game like this, could be the key going forward in the second half. And we really saw the Bombers do a lot of great, have a lot of great possessions over there, getting turnover points and stuff like that. So it's been really fun to watch.
Well, you really mentioned the free throws. We heard right before halftime Coach Dan Raymond for Ithaca talking to Allie Creeman on the sideline, saying fouls is a big deal for his team. And then when you look at Mary Kay Cusack, who had a huge first half in this game, she scored 18 points. Six of those points were from the free throw line. So if Ithaca can stay out of foul trouble and keep Mary Kay Cusack down, it'll be tough for St. John Fisher to win this game.
Yeah, Steve, a very tough task to keep Mary Kay Cusack down. If you're head coach Dan Raymond, what's your message to your team? How do you contain Mary Kay Cusack going forward in the second half? Because she just exploded there in the first half with 18 points.
Well, she really went off at the beginning of that first half, but once they started getting the help defense, they were helping each other out, they were able to slow her down, but she knocked down shot after shot after shot for this team. She got a nice steal as well. So Mary Kay Cusack is a huge part of the St. John Fisher team, but if you can slow her down with help defense, then you can stop this team.
And another thing to look at really for St. John Fisher, while they have Mary Kay Cusack, she's really been the main offensive player for them in the first half, as opposed to the Bombers, where you're getting contributions from Rashuti, Gina Brady, players like that. Could that be something? That's also another thing to look at for them, the depth of this Bombers team. Could that possibly be a factor in the second half?
Well, definitely, because you see on the St. John Fisher side, you didn't see Portia Velasco doing much in that first half. On the Ithaca side, you see a bunch of different people. Alex Gilligan came off the bench and, like she always manages to do, knocked down a couple of big three-pointers. We saw everybody contributing. Ali Rashuti was the leading scorer in the first half for the Bombers, but it is definitely a team effort to come out on top in that first half.
And now let's take a look around the Empire 8. Obviously, the men's tournament is going on up there in Rochester, not just here at Ithaca, New York, but we see a lot of games going on right now. Fisher versus Alfred going on right now in the Empire 8 tournament. They're at halftime right now, Steve. Obviously, IC lost to Fisher in the first round last night, and then Alfred lost to Hartwick. So you see the score right now, 34-28, St. John Fisher at the half, and they're getting a lot of contributions as well, and an important game right now for the St. John Fisher Cardinals going up against the Alfred Saxons.
Oh, definitely, St. John Fisher in 2 Empire 8 championships at the same time, the men and the women going for it all, see if they can pull out the sweep in the Empire 8.
And it should be interesting to see how that one plays out, and it should be interesting to see how this one plays out here in the second half. A great second half should be coming up right now for the Ithaca Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals. But I want to know, Steve, what are your keys for the Ithaca Bombers? How are they going to be able to maintain this lead going forward here in the second half?
Definitely got to continue that help defense inside. We saw Aaron Ferguson, Gina Brady doing a great job of that in the first half, but also on the offensive end, stay composed. We see St. John Fisher being very aggressive, going for steals every time down the court. If they can take control of the ball, get it inside, they'll be able to get open shots in the second half.
And now for St. John Fisher, they've had a lot of great offensive outpouring from Mary Kay Cusack, and you see Portia Velasco right now. She only has 5 points in the first half. So do you expect her to maybe heat up there in the second half, maybe see her get a little bit more involved in the offense?
I definitely expect her to. We mentioned in the pregame show that last night she really did a good job of heating up in the second half for St. John Fisher. If Portia Velasco can come out in the second half and give the performance she gave last night in the second half, that really will give the Cardinals a good chance to win this game.
All right, Steve, really quick at the half right now, 42-38 Ithaca, but who's going to come out here and get this win today?
Well, who's going to win this game? It's going to be tight, but I have to go with St. John Fisher. They came out strong at the beginning. They're a second-half team, and if they can come out strong in the second half the way they did in the first half, I don't think the Bombers have another run in them to come back in this game.
All right, well, it should be fun to watch here in the second half at Ben Light Gymnasium. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll send it right back up to Alex Barth, Dan Budick, and Allie Crewman, who will bring you all the second half action here in the Empire 8 Championship between the Bombers and the St. John Fisher Cardinals.
Thanks, guys. Back up here from the third floor, Ben Light Gymnasium, Alex Barth, Dan Budick. Dan, it's going to be a great second half. I'm excited.
It's going to be a really good second half, and I think we saw signs of how good each of these teams are. We saw St. John Fisher early on in the first half really dominate, really control possession, control the momentum, and then Ithaca came in and really dominated the second part of that first half. So I think it's going to be a great second half of basketball, and I think either of these teams are in position to take that Empire 8 crown.
And remember, we talked pregame about how the Bombers in that first game against, or the second game against Fisher that they lost, fell into kind of a slump. And Dan Raymond said at halftime, Allie Crewman, he was so proud of his players for not getting discouraged, not getting behind. That could end up being the difference in this one. The Bombers have a 4-point lead.
I think that's a great point. I alluded to it during the first half. Ithaca in that first game or the game they lost on January 24th against St. John Fisher, they weren't really playing together. They got a little discouraged when things didn't go right, and they fell into a little bit of a slump. Well, when things didn't go right early on today for the Bombers, they rebounded. Coach Raymond took a timeout, settled his players down, and from then on, they really took control of this basketball game offensively and defensively.
Meanwhile, taking a look at some of the leaders, Mary Kay Cusack, how about this? Game high 18 in the first half.
She was phenomenal. She was phenomenal. She's a big reason why St. John Fisher is in this game. Patricia Velasco really didn't have a great first half, as we saw, as the guys alluded to at the desk. I think she's going to have a much better second half, but there is no doubt Mary Kay Cusack is the reason why this team's in this game.
Velasco 1 for 4 on the day with 5 points. Cusack on top of that, 3 assists, that's a team high, 2 steals, only 2 for the team. Sydney Bloomstein leads the Cardinals with 6 rebounds. For the Bombers, it's all Allie Raschuti, 10 points, 6 boards, a team high, both of those. Ferguson ties her for the team high in boards with 6. Actually, Kerry Steele follows that up with 9, nobody over 2 assists. No steals for the Bombers either. A very strong defensive team, not 1 steal. That's not something you'd expect, and I think it's something you'll see changes. The officials are over at the table just conferring something last minute with the official in charge of the clock before we get started. They may be looking at the possession arrow. Believe it will be Fisher ball when we eventually get underway.
Should be Fisher ball. Ithaca controlled that opening tip.
We had a couple jumps since then. And it looks like almost they're going back through the live stats application to see all the jump balls. Looks like that might be what's happening as they try to figure out whose possession it should be. And it looks like it will be the Cardinals on the far side. We've had some interesting things happen today. Remember, we had like a 5-minute stoppage for them to clean the court. They're trying to figure out the jump ball. We've had a couple technicals almost thrown out. In these championship games, when teams pull out all the stops, you're going to see every last little thing, it seems like.
Well, I think for Ithaca's end, I think you're seeing that only because I think they're upset. You know, they played the St. John Fisher's team a month ago and lost, and it was their only blemish to a 15-1 Empire 8 record. So I think they're out to really play physical and really take this second half and win this championship.
Velasco, the deep 3, no good. Or it is good. That's going to take a couple bounces before finally heading home. So Velasco starts off the second half much better. Cardinals within 2. Same starting 5 for each team. Velasco, Cusack, Bloomstein, Bezin, and Carney for the Cardinals. Bombers, Raschuti, Steele, Clee, Minich, and Kotroop. Bombers are in their away blue jerseys. No time for laundry between last night and today. Blue jerseys, white trim. They're moving right to left across the screen as Minich, no good. Rebound Cardinals, who are moving left to right, and they're white with maroon. It's Velasco. Layup, no good, high glass. Rebound, Francesca Kotroop, and there's someone who really needs to step up, Dan, in this second half.
Yeah, I think Kotroop's going to have to do a lot more offensively if the Bombers want to take full control of this game. She was so dominant last night in that win over Nazareth.
Klee pulls up mid-range, no good. Had the space, can't get it to land. Velasco with the rebound, she'll bring it up. Velasco gives it over to Bezin. Bezin to Bloomstein. Bloomstein back to Cusack. Cusack hesitates, then moves to her right. Drives baseline, drops it back. It's a nifty little play, but it won't fall. Rebound comes to Cusack. She'll step back. Fresh clock. Cusack, corner 3. That one is good. Cardinals back on top.
And boy, was she involved in that entire sequence. Feeding it down low for a shot, getting her own rebounds, popping back out and taking a 3. She has been everywhere, so to speak, for the Cardinals thus far.
Cusack now with 21, nearly half the points for the Cardinals. It almost looks like it's 1-on-5. Minich hesitates, steps in, jumper, good. Allie Minich getting warm here in the second half. We'll keep an eye on that knee. She injured her knee earlier in the season, and supposedly it's healthy now, but she still wears the brace, and the full game can wear you out no matter what. Now it's Minich defending Velasco, and she's going to draw a reach-in foul.
And I think Stephen Altieri, during the halftime show, made an interesting point. He said that this St. John Fisher's team has been much of a second-half team, and I think they have been. I mean, if you look last night, they were down by 2 against Stevens, had such a dominant second half. This game, only down by 4 or 5 at halftime, right in the game. And what happened early on, you could see them picking up some momentum, whether it's been Velasco or here's Cusack.
How about that? Step back three. Cardinals pulling ahead again. 46-44, 17-44 to go in the Empire 8 Championship game. Although, Dan, I would not be surprised if this one sends us to overtime. Klee to the basket, no good. How about that? Interesting play down low. Kotrup got almost tackled, flipping upside down. Rebound came to her. And assuming there's no foul, she kicked that back out. That probably would have been the assist of the year.
And I think one thing I'm very surprised at coming out first couple minutes into the second half is I'm surprised that Ithaca hasn't really adjusted defensively to Mary Kay Cusack. You still see them playing single man-to-man defense on her. You don't see that double team. I thought there would definitely be a double team on Cusack early on in the second half. Hasn't happened so far.
Now it's Minich, loses her dribble, picks back up, free throw line jumper in traffic, putting up over 3 players as Allie Minich were tied.
As you see here, again, ball just coming in right to Cusack.
And we have a foul underneath. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be the Mary Kay Cusack show the rest of the way. Will be inbounded underneath. The foul was on the floor. Cusack to inbound. Going to lob it in. It's Mackenzie Bezin. We haven't heard much from her. Averages 4 points, 5 rebounds a game for the Cardinals. Velasco drops it back to Bloomstein. Bloomstein the crossover on Raschuti. Now turns around, lays it up, no good for the senior from Millbury, Massachusetts. Sam Klee over to Minich. Minich hesitates, gets a pick from Kotrup. Open jumper, good again. It's the Allie Minich show all of a sudden in the second half. She has the Bombers' last 6 points.
And she's so valuable to this Bombers team, and we talked about it when she was out with her knee injury on the bike, how important and how valuable she will be when she comes back, and she's been that thus far here in the second half.
That pass is tipped, it'll go out of bounds, remain Cardinal ball. Meanwhile, Minich now up to 8 points. 6 of those coming on the last 3 Bomber possessions. There's the 3 from Cusack. Is she gonna miss? Is she going to miss?
Hasn't missed yet this second half. She's just been on fire, and again, you don't see that double team. The Bombers haven't done anything to adjust to her, and I'm very, very surprised, again, coming on the second half, the Bombers haven't changed their defense around her.
How about that for defense? Velasco running the 2-on-1, drops it back, ball's lost, still lost in front. Now it's picked up by Carney. Carney get back to Cusack again. There's the miss. Ball tipped away. Sam Klee comes down with the rebound. Cusack has a season high of 30. She's at 27 right now. We still have plenty of game left. Klee goes to the bucket, no good. Fight for the rebound underneath. That ball's rolling towards out of bounds. Save kicked out by Sam Klee. It's saved. It's saved by Allie Minich. What a sequence. Bombers maintain possession, 25 on the shot clock. Bombers going to reset it. Sam Klee up top, guarded by Portia Velasco. Klee inside. Kotrup fakes the turnaround. Back to Klee. Open. Trey. No good. Rebound. Fought for by Raschuti. Comes up Cusack. Cusack running the floor. She's got trailers. Drops it back. Velasco can't handle. Lets the Bombers defense catch up. Cusack from very deep. That's a tie for your season high, Mary Kay Cusack. 30 points.
That one a deep 3, but again, a wide open look. There hasn't been much. There haven't been many people in her face. There hasn't been her shots haven't been contested in this half. I'm very surprised by the defense.
Velasco with another steal.
Here.
She's going to go coast to coast for shooting on the backside. Can't get there. Cardinals take a 6-point lead coming out of the half, and the Bombers just look gassed right now.
The Bombers look gassed, and Mary Kay Cusack is leading this attack for the St. John Fisher Cardinals, and I think like they have been historically this year, like they were last night, a second-half team as they've come out guns blazing here in the second half.
We got a playoff game, certainly a close playoff game here on the South Hill. On the East Hill, there's playoffs as well. Cornell women's hockey team right now in action against St. Lawrence University. Want to know how that goes? Big Red Face-Off. It's your one-stop source for everything Cornell hockey. Highlights, post-game, reactions from players and coaches, as well as a comprehensive breakdown from analysts. Tune into Big Red Face-Off Sunday at 8:30. Again, playoff hockey on the East Hill, playoff basketball here. Dan, you and Jake Asman, famously the Asman and Beauty podcast, I believe you guys have a segment there.
Big Red, great show, but you know, a lot of great stuff going on both the East and South Hill this weekend.
Mary Kay Cusack, meanwhile, 9 for 14 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep. She is red hot. What do you do defensively here? Do you change the player who's defending her? Do you go to a double team, both? Do you just leave it and kind of let the numbers take advantage? Eventually she's got to miss.
I don't think you could do that at all because she hasn't missed, and I think the Bombers tried to do that maybe towards the end of the first half into this second half, but they have to make an adjustment, and I think that's what Coach Raymond's doing right now. You have to make an adjustment because, like I mentioned, her shots haven't even been really contested. There's not that many girls jumping in her face as you see here. So many open opportunities, and she's taking advantage of her shot selection.
They're
Tremendous
getting her
shot
open
selection.
off screens because you saw in a lot of those plays, it's Ali Raschuti coming late to the ball.
Yeah.
And that could be hurting the Bombers on offense too, because if Rashuti's chasing after, she's getting gassed. She's been kind of quiet offensively. You got to wonder if the defense is taking something out of her.
And she's such a unique player, Mary Kay Cusack, because you can't really foul her because you put her to the line. She's a 75% shooter this year from the free throw line.
Clee to the basket with contact, no good. Gina Brady underneath. Ball's knocked out of bounds, going to stay with the Bombers. They have the ball off the timeout, 14:35 to go in this Empire 8 Championship game on Bombers Live and ICTV. Alex Barth, Dan Budick bringing you this one from the rafters of Ben Light Gymnasium. Ball's inbounded to Gina Brady. Brady works in the post, draws the double, puts up the hook shot, it's good.
And the fans trying to really get the Bombers back in this game, trailing by 4 here with 14:20 to go.
Like we mentioned, no steals in the first half for the Bombers. Steal here would be big, it's Cusack. They're going to run the switch, now it's Clee. Tasked with guarding Cusack, and same result. She gets to the basket with a lot of contact, still gets it to fall. 56-50 now the score. St. John Fisher fans very pleased. Meanwhile, Captain Sydney Bloomstein getting ready to check into the game. Gina Brady drops it back to Kerry Steele. Steele to Brady. Minich. Cardinals playing very tight defense, aggressive, looking for those steals. Raschuti gets a screen, dumps it inside to Brady on the pick and roll. That's good.
Nicely drawn up there by Coach Raymond, and you like the different looks the Bombers have opened up with since the timeout to try to put some points on the board and nick away at this lead, only down by 4 right here.
4-point game, Portia Velasco getting ready to check in. Cusack, oh, how about that step back? Didn't take the shot, but got a lot of separation. Pia Santini guarded by Minich, now gets it to the corner. Backing down, turning around is Cunningham, can't get it to go. She's been on the floor a lot tonight. Raschuti. One-on-one on Cusack, pulls up very short, but she got fouled. And maybe that's the way you get Cusack out of the game. Go at her on defense, force her to accumulate fouls.
Yeah, it's a good tactic, but you know, it's hard to do that when she's got the ball if you're going to draw a charge, possibly. But you like to see Ali Raschuti going to the line. And like it did in the first half of the Bombers, it triggered them offensively going to the line and hitting free throws. Hopefully that could be the same right here.
And there you see the contact on the forearm. Cusack not happy about it, as that one is no good off front rim. And you saw Raschuti at the free throw line too, looking very gassed. As now Cusack checks out of the game. Velasco comes in.
I think the Bombers are very relieved that Mary Kay Cusack is checking out of this ball game.
Meanwhile, here comes Alex Gilligan. She replaces Sam Clee. So you now have Raschuti, Minich, and Gilligan all on the floor at the same time. 3 knockdown outside shooters. We'll see if the Bombers pick up the pace. Try to get a couple of transition threes. That tends to be their go-to when they're trailing. Raschuti gets the second free throw to go. It's a 3-point game. Pia Santini. Near side to Velasco, guarded by Gilligan. Looking in the post. Gets it in the post. Robinson, guarded by Brady. No good off the rim. Rebound comes to Kerry Steele. She has to fight to get it away from Cunningham, which she does. Cunningham's going to continue the press, but now it's Gilligan bringing the ball up the floor. Bombers with the spread out offense. Minich inside to Brady. Drops it back to Minich. Minich gets a pick. Open jumper. That one's good. Allie Minich having herself a second half. Fisher going to run. Velasco crosses over in the lane, guarded by Gilligan, and one. Portia Velasco coming right back, has a chance to push the lead to 4.
And I think on the offensive end for the Bombers, Alex, you like what you see from Allie Minnich coming in here in the second half, playing serious minutes and contributing right there. But nice job on the other end by Portia Velasco getting to the line.
Velasco, a very good free throw shooter, near 80%. We've said it a few times, gets the and one. 59-55, 12:34 to go.
Overall, this is a very good St. John Fisher team from the free throw line. So if we get to the point later on in this half where the Bombers have to foul, send them to the line, that's not necessarily a great thing for the Bombers.
Steele to the line, to the basket, draws the foul, she'll go to the line. That one is going to go on Nicole Robinson, the freshman from Cedarhurst, New York. First one from Steele is good. As Velasco is going to come back deep for Fisher. Possible cherry pick. Now Gilligan follows her back. And there's the inbound to Piacentini. 2-point game now, 12:17 to go. Velasco, the up and under. Jump ball as Gilligan held it down. Possession arrow shows Ithaca. Good defensive play there by the sophomore from Fountain Hills, Arizona.
Yeah, great job there by Alex Gilligan. And she's really been all over the place when she's been on the court. And very nice job right there forcing that jump ball. And the Bombers do a great job of that all season, getting their hands in there and forcing a lot of jump balls, changing the possession arrow.
Gilligan leading the Bombers bench, 20-13. Points for the reserves favoring Ithaca as Steele's going to go to the line once again. Kerry Steele being very aggressive in this game. No, that's an offensive foul. Offensive foul on Kerry Steele, so she will not go to the line. Fisher will get the ball back. Mary Kay Cusack back in the game, replacing Emily Piacentini. Velasco now at the point. Guarded by Gilligan, gives it to Cusack, guarded by Minnich. Moves to her right, that quick first step, the step back, no good, misses everything. Rebound underneath, it's gonna come to Minnich, and a foul is gonna be called, I believe, against Allie Minnich. Or no, on Cusack. Foul on Mary Kay Cusack.
Yeah, it looked like Cusack there, kind of both players getting to the point of contact with the blow, and Cusack made contact with Minnich as opposed to the other way around.
The Bombers look to tie it up. We throw it down to Allie Crewman.
Thanks, guys. In that last timeout, Coach Dan Raymond seemed very frustrated with his team, telling them constantly over and over again they know who's scoring for the St. John Fisher Cardinals. It's obviously Mary Kay Cusack. She has over 30 points on the game so far. They need to stop handing her the ball and start guarding her more. Back up to you guys.
Meanwhile, we talked earlier as the Bombers failed to tie it up. Bombers and Cardinals 3 and 5 respectively in the Eastern rankings on D3basketball.com. Geneseo #1, both teams hoping for a loss, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. They're up 10 in Portland with 3 to go. As the Cardinals extend the lead to 4, Sydney Bloomstein. Now the Bombers running. Ali Rashuti gets a pick, drops it back to Minnich, swings to the corner. Gilligan contested 3, no good, almost. Offensive rebound, Ali Rashuti comes flying in. Drops back to Gilligan, back to Rashuti. Guarded by Cusack, gets a pick right. Rashuti going to the basket, up and under. That one is good from Ali Rashuti.
Great hustle there by Ali Rashuti, getting to a rebound and being able to set up a possession where you could score and make this game within 2.
The Bombers #4 in leading scorer starting to step up after her counterpart has done so all half. There is Cusack now, guarded by Minnich. 15 on the shot clock. Now on the near side, it's Bezin. Back to Cusack. 6 on the shot clock. From deep, it's good.
And Mary Kay Cusack continues to impress, and every time they touch the ball, you could tell they're trying to set up a screen. You're right, Alex, a screen to open her up, and it's been Ali Rashuti, that soft girl, late to get an arm into the face of Cusack.
Gina Brady gets to go on the turnaround, though, keeps it within 3, 10 to go. Cusack now at 35 points. She's 7 of 12 from deep. Bonafide on fire. Cusack gets a pick left, moves right. Draws the double, kicks it back. Bloomstein from 3, no good. Rebound, Ali Minnich. Bombers, big advantage on the glass. They 33-25, 7 of 4 on the offensive side. Rashuti lays it up with contact. She'll go to the line.
Nice job there by Rashuti going to the line, but I like what we see on the defensive end for Ithaca in the last couple possessions, putting that double team finally on Mary Kay Cusack there, forced her to dish it out, and a missed shot on the other end by Bloomstein.
Mentioned forcing the pass. Cusack 7 of 12 from 3. The rest of the team just 0 for 3. So if the Bombers can get the ball in other players' hands, it should help them defensively as Rashuti gets the first one to go. Brings it within 2, 64-62 as we have a couple of subs. Julie Iacovoni and Sam Klee come in.
You'll see here on your screen that foul that put Ali Rashuti to the line. Definite contact there.
Nicole Robinson coming over the top. Rashuti will take her second. There it is. Velasco now bringing the ball up. 9:46 to go, 64-63, Cardinal lead. Looking to extend. Cusack, jab step, 3, no good. Rebound, Ali Minich. Ball comes to Sam Klee. Velasco's going to press. Klee's got to get it over, and she does. Now Brady looking for a shooting backside, doesn't have it. Instead gives it to Klee. Now Minich off the screen. Minich from 3, no good. Back rim. Both teams have suddenly gone cold. 64-63 Cardinals. Cusack against Klee. Gives it to Velasco from 3. Splash! Got it! 4-point game.
4-point game right there, and you see now with Cusack facing the double team, she's facilitating out. Great job there by Portia Velasco finding that open shot.
First Cardinal not named Mary Kay Cusack to hit a 3 today. We're under 9 to go in a 4-point Empire 8 title game. Klee up top to Brady. Brady looking inside for Iacovoni. Pass gets away from her. Cardinals are going to get the ball back. Erin Ferguson, Jordan Beers about to check in. They will replace Gina Brady and Ali Minich.
Yeah, Ali Minich coming off, but she's done such a great job keeping the Bombers alive here. They're putting up 9 points here in the second half.
And we have a foul on the floor. Dan Raymond telling his defense to move from the bench. You can hear him yelling from up here. Really questioning the execution. There's the inbound underneath to Bloomstein. Iacovoni on defense. That's a good job, but offensive rebound. Iacovoni again. She'll get called for the foul.
Yeah, putting Iacovoni to the line a lot better than putting Mary Kay Cusack to the line. Obviously, she's pushing 76%. But you see the Bombers are getting very aggressive. Erin Ferguson, as always as she's been in today, when she's been in the game, been in the mix, very physical underneath the basket.
Bloomstein, 71% free throw shooter. And take a look in the top right corner, that number 4 on the Fisher side, 32 points. How about that?
She has been that, just everything offensively for St. John Fisher, and the reason why they lead in this ball game.
Beers now with the ball, backing down on Cusack. Looking to drop it back, gets it to Rashuti up top. Rashuti, the crossover, thought she had room, doesn't. Drops it inside. Ferguson, turnaround, no good but the foul.
And the most impressive thing I think about Mary Kay Cusack in this ball game is she doesn't take a shot, and you could tell she's confident in every shot she takes. You know, there's no, even when she misses, there's no drag coming around the other end. She is not afraid to get the ball right back and put up another shot. I think that's very, very good to see if you're St. John Fisher, because she has led you here, averaging 16.4 points a game, but 32 points thus far, Alex. I mean, that's almost half the St. John Fisher points.
Ferguson misses the first, gets the second. Bombers within 5. Velasco. Now to Bezin, back to Velasco. Gets a pick right, moves left. Bezin looking for Cusack, and moves back the other way. Now gets Velasco, guarded by Rashuti, on her tight. Now they go in the post. Back up top, Bezin, 3, no good. Rebound, Cusack tips it. It's going to go out of bounds off of her. Ithaca ball.
I think one thing Ithaca's got to be looking to do offensively here is facilitate the post. Get inside the post and get physical like they did a few minutes ago, because that's how they're going to get back into this game, and that's how they're going to regain the lead in this game if they do so. Got to be physical, which they have been for most of the night.
Klee gets a pick to her right. Looks inside. Iacovoni, the turnaround in double coverage, can't get it. Poor shot choice there from the Bombers. There's still time left on the clock. Now here comes Cusack. Crosses left, goes right. Steps back. Just toying now with Ali Rashuti. Drops it back to Velasco. They're going to run the switch. Now it's Klee on Cusack. Now Bloomstein gets left open. Ferguson's gonna have to pick her up, lose control of her dribble, kicks it to the corner. Open three is good. That one for Mackenzie Beeson.
Actually, officially, too, the far referee said her foot was on the line.
Beers tries to pass it down low. It's gonna be a kick ball. Beers not happy. Bombers now down 7 with Minich coming back in the game.
I think that's a good sign only because she's been the Bombers' best shooter here in the second half.
So we take another look. Look at that crazy bounce. Back into Minich. Now Beers. Under 7 to go. Bombers down 7. Ferguson fouled underneath. She'll go to the line again. Shooting 51%. Take another look here at the contact.
Yeah, definite contact underneath to put Erin Ferguson on the line. You know, this is what the Bombers have to continue doing. Getting points without killing the clock. And I think anytime you're down, you know, with under 7 minutes to go in a game, that's the key to getting back in it. Putting up points without killing any time on the clock, and that's what the Bombers are doing right now.
Able to get Jessica Roan off her feet. Second one's no good. Both missed, but Beers is going to come up with the rebound, get it to fall. Bombers still get 2 points off the possession, 71-66. 6:46 to go. Velasco, guarded by Minich. Gives it to Bloomstein, back to Velasco. Moves to her right, puts up a contested jumper, no good, right into the arms of Jordan Beers. Coach Emery not happy with that shot choice on the Cardinals sideline. Meanwhile, Jordan Beers, freshman, goes coast to coast with the jumper. Bombers now within 3. Closing the gap quickly. Velasco running the point. Timeout Cardinals. And my, oh my, is Marianne O'Connor Ermey not happy.
Yeah,
now look at Gina Brady pump up the crowd.
Yeah, pumping up the crowd right there is Gina Brady, but this game has been such a classic game of back and forth. Started Fisher, then Ithaca back to Fisher, and now it looks like Ithaca's chipping back away at that momentum, driving their way to tie this game.
It's going to be a lot to talk about, and if you want to hear both sides of the argument, hold that thought. This is ICTV's one and only sports debate show, Monday nights at 9 p.m. Here returning host Brendan Vogt alongside analyst Mia O'Brien, Griffin Haas, Pete Quant, Jesse Feldman, and Joan Restuccio. Check out their Twitter page. You can actually tweet your vote, or you favorite the tweet for who you want to vote for. It's a great time. Griffin actually sitting next to us, providing the stats today, doing a great job of that. I'm sure he'll have quite a few things to say about this, as will most of the analysts. Great season on ICTV. Of course, we got Bombers Live. This is our last, I believe, broadcast of the year. We'd like to thank you for joining us. Dan, you, and Jake Hasman, a terrific football season throughout the basketball season as well. Sports Final, 8 p.m. on Sundays, followed by Big Red at 8:30, and then Mondays at 9. Hold that thought. Dan Raymond, what's he saying right now?
Well, I think he's telling his team, we've done a nice job chipping away at their, high 6-7 point lead, but we got to stay in our own. We have to play our type of basketball, and most of all, we have to try and keep the ball out of Mary Kate Cusack's arms, because when she touches the basketball, it's resulted in points almost every time tonight for St. John Fisher.
Cusack will inbound on the offensive side of the floor for the Cardinals on the near side. Cardinals in their white uniforms with maroon lettering moving left to right across your screen. Bombers in their blues moving right to left. Cusack guarded by Klee. Now gives it up to Roan. Velasco on the far side. Swung back to Roan. Crowd making noise. Bezin. Bloomstein looking for Cusack. Now has to get to Velasco. Ball knocked away. 3 on the shot clock. Deep 3. Oh my God! What a shot with 3 on the shot clock.
Kind of just a Hail Mary type shot right there, but they were able to get it to fall.
Mackenzie Bezin had no choice. She didn't want to put it up, but it pays off. Bombers have to answer back. Clean, no good. Defensive rebound for Fisher. Jim just suddenly got very silent.
But throughout this second half, St. John Fisher has really, for the most part, controlled the pace, and it's all going through these two girls' hands, number 3 and number 4 being Cusack and Velasco, respectively.
Francesca Kotroop and Ali Raschuti getting ready to check in. Ball gets to the corner. Now back to Bloomstein. Pass it underneath. Ball knocked around a couple times. It'll go out of bounds. Remain Fisher ball. Raschuti, Klee, and Kotroop check in. So the Bombers will put their starters back on the floor. And you got to wonder if that's going to be good for subs today. Deep 3 from Cusack as the shot clock expires. Not that time, but a big offensive rebound for the Cardinals. We're now at 5 to go.
And we apologize for the clock disappearing on your screen. Having a few technical difficulties. We're trying to get that set up as soon as we can.
4:58, 74-68 the score. Cardinals lead. Bombers trail by 6. And a foul on Sam Klee.
And with 4:50 to go, Alex, only down by 6 points. The last thing you want to do is put Cusack to the line because she has just been so dominant there all season. And again, you don't want to see St. John Fisher scoring points here without killing any time on the clock because Ithaca's got to do that. Ithaca's got to get the possession in their hands.
Cusack gets the first to go. 1-1 now, single bonus for the Cardinals. Second one is good as well. 8-point game now. Cardinals are going to press. Bombers have been very good against the press this year. We'll see if this works in their favor as Coach Roop holds it up. Now to the corner, Minich handles the pass, tees up the 3, Allie Minich. 5-point game, 4.5 to go.
And you made a good point. All year, Ithaca's had success against the press, and you see Minich right there being able to swing it out to her and give her a good look open from that corner.
Velasco. Now over on the far side, it's Bezin. Dumps inside, that pass gets away. Bomber ball. They can bring it within a 1-possession game here.
And with 4:16 left to go, Alex, every possession is valuable, even for St. John Fisher. A turnover right there, very costly, could end up being very costly for the Cardinals.
And again, the stakes high. An Empire 8 title means an automatic trip to the NCAA tournament. And for the Ithaca women, if they win, they would be their seniors would be the first class to go 4 for 4 in their 4 years in tournament titles. Ball kicked back to Klee. Looking to pass. Gets it to Coach Troop. 5 on the shot clock. Raschuti in the lane. Step back jumper. Gets it to go! Allie Raschuti. 3-point game.
Great roll right there by Allie Raschuti, getting a favorable roll off that front rim, but tremendous look. Step back a little bit from the free throw line.
Don't adjust your dial, your internet, however you are watching us. This game is going to have quite an ending. Velasco steps back. Calling signals, gets a pick right. Instead steps back, now moves to her left. Guarded by Minich, pull-up jumper. No good back rim, rebound, and a foul underneath against the Cardinals. Bombers in the 1-1. They will go to the line. They can make this a 1-point game.
And that's what you'll love to see if you're Coach Dan Raymond. Great aggression by Ithaca underneath the basket, drawing the foul, putting it to the line, and drawing it to within a 1-point game, possibly with 3:18 to go here in the second half.
It's getting tense down there. Our voice on the floor, Allie Krugman, has something. Allie.
Thanks, guys. In the last timeout, assistant coach for the Cardinals, Shelby Lyman, was telling our team to open the gap and use up the time clock, saving every single second they can with the lead right here. Back up to you guys.
First free throw is good. Second one is up, and that will fall. Kerry Steele has had a great time at the line tonight. Coach Ermey looking a little stressed on the Cardinals sideline. That ball is stolen, Kerry Steele. She's got a clear path, up and under, no good with the foul. Bombers can take the lead.
Great aggression there by Steele, getting the steal. No pun intended, and you can see here, picking up the steal, driving to the basket, but drawing that foul and sending her to the line.
How many times did we see Portia Velasco make that play for the Cardinals today, and on the most crucial one, she's the one who makes the bad pass. Steele ties it. This one for the lead. 3 minutes to go. Ice, water. Bombers on top, 77-76. 3 minutes to go in the Empire 8 title game. Velasco over to Cusack. Cusack to her right, has a lane. Up. No good off the back rim. Bombers have the ball. It's Steele with the rebound over to Klee. Sam Klee between her legs, now backs up. Gets it to Minich. Seniors playing in what could be their last game at Ben Light. And they're making it count right now. Klee to Coach Troop. Drops it back to Steele. Steele, the floater, it's good! Kerry Steele!
And you can't say enough about the last couple minutes for Kerry Steele. And a
Timeout, Cardinals.
And a timeout taken here by Fisher.
That
Just an absolutely tremendous job by the Bombers over the last couple minutes, and Kerry Steele picking up that huge steal, changing the momentum in this game and shifting it towards Ithaca's way with under 2:30 to go, Alex.
Steele is tied for a team-high 17 points. Big second half. How do you deal now with this shift in state for the Bombers? You went from clinging on to your season. Now they're up 3 and have to go from pushing the ball to a very conservative outlook. How do you deal with that mentally?
Well, I think it's tough only because you had to swing your momentum pretty quickly. You had to move the ball pretty quickly to get the lead with under two and a half minutes to go. Now, slow it down a little bit. No need to pressure. No need to put up errant shots. No need to force anything. You control the pace of the game. And on the other side for St. John Fisher, you have to be saying in the huddle, try to get the ball as fast as you can, try to put the ball up as fast as you can, and try to get to the free throw line and get the ball to Mary Kay Cusack.
2:24 to go. 79-76 Bomber lead. Meanwhile, on the other side, what are they talking about in that huddle, Dan?
Well, I think, like I said before, I think St. John Fisher is really talking about the fact that you need to get the ball in your catalyst hand. Patricia Velasco and Mary Kay Cusack. An interesting note, over the last couple minutes, we haven't seen much of Mary Kay Cusack. The Bombers have done a much better job defending her. The double team has worked, and the pressure that the Bombers have put up defensively have really held off this St. John Fisher team.
I'm sure coming out of this timeout, the Bombers will have all 10 eyes on the floor on Mary Kay Cusack for the rest of this game. We've seen what she can do from deep. It is only a 3-point game. This can change in an instant. Cusack will inbound on the far side in the Fisher offensive side of the court.
And I think this is where the home court advantage really comes into effect, Alex. 2:22 to go here in this game, and we are playing this game at Ben Light, Ithaca's home court. It's huge.
Fisher has led for most of this game, but it doesn't matter who leads most of it. It matters who leads at the end of it. Bezin to Bloomstein. Looking for Velasco, drops it back. 8 on the shot clock. Velasco, Cusack, 3, good, tie game! Mary Kay Cusack from the corner, under 2. Cusack has 40. Sam Klee, guarded by Velasco, gets a pick. Looking for Raschuti, has her. Steps right now, crossover left, free throw line jumper. No good. Fight for the ball. And well, how about that? Jessica Wrong gets the rebound but falls out of bounds. Bombers will maintain possession.
Yeah, excellent job. What a break by Ithaca right there, but nice job by Ali Raschuti fighting for that ball and forcing Cunningham to fall out of bounds and the ball to go Ithaca's way.
Bombers will take their timeout. Each team now has 2 remaining. We are under 1:30 to go, with an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament on the line. Bombers have won the last 3 Empire 8 championships. To win today, their senior class becomes the first in conference history since they started playing women's basketball tournaments in the E8 to win all 4. And of course, they're looking back to get close to that national title that they've come so close to the past 4 years.
And I think one thing, like we talked about, is having this game at Ben Light Gymnasium, Ithaca being the home team hosting this tournament and playing in the championship game on their home court is huge. And you could feel the intensity and you could feel the pressure in this building going towards Ithaca's way with under 2 minutes to go.
And the fans have made a difference.
Oh,
Remember
absolutely.
at the end of the first half, they made Mary Kay Cusack put up an early shot because they counted down the clock early.
And that's that home court advantage, and there's no better place to have it than in a championship game.
So the teams get ready to break the huddles underneath. We'd like to thank you for joining us all season on Bombers Live. It's been a good time. You see the football team right there having a good time. I see Kenny Bradley, E8 Freshman of the Year linebacker right there in the middle, showing off his moves.
Oh yeah, the guys are all here, supporting the team, and they've been loud, and they've, like you mentioned, had the effect on Cusack at the end of the first half, and the home court advantage has been huge for Ithaca thus far.
Bombers to inbound underneath. Steele has to get it in. Gets it, or to Kerry Steele. That was Sam Klee on the inbound. Steele to the bucket, no good. Offensive rebound, Coach Troop can't get it to go. Ball still loose. Rebound Fisher, 1:30 to go. Missed opportunity for Ithaca. Bloomstein, near side to Bezin. Cusack running up, she gets the ball. She's gonna tee up for 3, no good. Put way too much on it. Now it's Jordan Beers. 1:10 to go. Sorry, it's Sam Klee. Klee, guarded by Velasco, has Minich. Minich steps up, thinks about the jumper, gets it back. Brady, no good. Fought for underneath, it's Francesca Coach Troop coming out with it.
Great hustle.
Raschuti We're under a minute to go. Klee, tie game, 79-79. Raschuti to steal. And we have a timeout from Ithaca with 40.4 on the clock. Meanwhile, Mary Kay Cusack, despite them as having some kind of game, the Fisher all-time high is 42. She's 2 away from that. It was done back in 2005, or it's been done twice, once in 2005, once in 1979.
Wow.
Long-time record.
Well, that just tells you the historic game she's having, and no better stage to have it than the Empire 8 Championship game. And she has really been the offense.
And it's kind
for
of been
St. John
what we've
Fisher.
talked about. You have the 1-star versus running 5 deep. Bombers have 3 players in double digits.
Yeah, and I think that just shows you how deep this Ithaca team is and how Coach Raymond has faith in a lot of his shooters to put up the ball and take shots. And I think St. John Fisher does as well, but I think Cusack's just had the hot hand last night and today, and she's just been, like you mentioned, a historic performance here at a Saturday afternoon game at Ben Light Gymnasium.
Fisher back on the floor. Bombers breaking their huddle now. 40.4 to go. 79-79 the score. There's 17 on the shot clock. So if the Bombers miss, Fisher can hold for the last possession. If this takes the Bombers long enough, it's a 30-second shot clock in college women's basketball. Klee will inbound on the near side. She's guarded by Velasco. Into Troop, back to Klee. They have Steele off the screen, back to Klee now. Going to the basket, the hook shot is no good. Rebound underneath, Bombers have it. It's Sam Klee again, shot clock is off and a foul. Sam Klee is going to the line with the Empire 8 title in her hands.
So to speak, pretty much. 27.6 seconds ago, tied up at 79. Great job by Cleveland, getting there, missing a shot, grabbing her own rebound, and being able to draw the foul.
And here's where the Bombers' style of play has an advantage over the Cardinals. You don't know who's getting the last shot for Ithaca. You know exactly who's getting it for the Cardinals. Misses the first. So you heard the dead silence. Ali Raschuti comes up to communicate with the team what they're doing. One shot. Crowd will tell you if she makes it. No good. Now the Cardinals with a chance. They do have 2 timeouts. Velasco holds up. 21 and a half to go, and they'll use one of those timeouts right here.
And those were 2 big misses by Steele at the line. By Klee at the line. 2 big misses. You want to at least get one, not able to get any. And how with the shot clock turned off and 21.5 seconds to go, the fate really is in St. John Fisher's hands and what happens here.
And you got to wonder what happens if the Bombers get the ball back. Klee has to facilitate, and you don't know what kind of mental state she's in right now.
That's a good point. You know, Ithaca's had a history of not letting things brush them up. They have it tonight. They've been able to rebound from a lot of adversity in these couple of games in certain situations. We'll see what happens, but I think that could definitely linger with you mentally. Those were 2 big free throws. Could have given the Bombers the lead here with under 30 seconds to go. Just didn't happen.
And I think, no question, last shot's going to Mary Kay Cusack.
I'd be shocked if it doesn't. I think she's just been offensively that catalyst. Velasco's done a lot of good things last night and tonight, but it's just been Mary Kay Cusack's game with 40 points on the day.
21.5 on the clock. Bombers do not have a foul to give. It would be 1-1 if they foul. They do have 1 more timeout, as do the Cardinals. Or if the Bombers can stop the inbound here, they would make the Cardinals use their last timeout.
Well, that's an interesting tactic, too, because then they can't call a timeout once the ball's inbounded again. We'll see what Ithaca's, how they approach here, the inbounds defensively. I think that'll tell us a lot about what St. John Fisher does with that last timeout.
It will be Mackenzie Bezen on the inbound. Fisher's going to go with the stack. Cusack's the one up front. Velasco's the one sprinting back. She gets the ball. Portia Velasco, guarded by Ali Minich, 14. 10 to go. Cusack around the top to Bezen. They're trying to count that, doesn't work. Cusack, no good from deep. Ball's going to go out of bounds. The clock runs out.
There should be some time,
We will see if they get time left. The refs are going to discuss. The crowd tried the countdown tactic again. It didn't work. Cusack really not happy with herself. She missed off the far side of the rim. We will wait to see
From the naked eye, it looked like maybe should be a little over a second left as they're going to take a look right now.
I don't believe we have an official review, but they're going to talk to the scorer. And they're going to now bring over the St. John Fisher assistant coach, Al Mack. He's been doing this for 8 years. He was an assistant coach with the head coach, Marianne O'Connor Emery.
Wow, what an exciting ball game here for an Empire 8 crown. Whoever wins this game is going to definitely deserve it. Both teams have fought very hard this afternoon.
And we're being told by the truck the ball went out of bounds before the clock ended. The refs are going to confer. They're going to give .4 on the clock, so this is just a technicality. Really can't get a shot off. The Bombers can somehow draw a foul. They would go to the line. It's very little time. Got to get it in. The full court pass for Schudy's alone. And a violation, or no, a timeout called. A timeout called by St. John Fisher.
Wow, that was a great timeout by St. John Fisher because Ali Raschuti picking off the screen was wide open down low.
I don't know if she would have had enough time to get the layup off, but it would have at least been a catch and release.
It would have at least given them a very close opportunity on the shot. A very smart timeout taken right there by St. John Fisher. Perfect timing.
Great awareness by Sydney Bloomstein, too. I'm not sure if somebody told her to call a timeout, but that's a captain at her best. The senior from Millsbury, Mass. So do you run the same play again? Or no, they're going to say that's it. They're actually going to say that's it. We're going to overtime. We're 5 minutes away from the first overtime period.
The horn never rang. So
the refs are actually still at the table. Not totally sure what's going on here.
Because the ball was never officially inbounds.
The clock is counting down like overtime. Now they have it back at 5 minutes. They had it going down from 5, which would be the time in between. Now it's just stopped at 5. We are tied at 79.
The only thing I could think of is that they got a last second that they didn't want to put any time on the clock and to end the quarter.
Or it's possible. I actually don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well, the only thing I could think of, because clearly they put .4 seconds on the clock and the ball wasn't inbound.
Unless it wasn't actually timeout.
Well, the horn never rang.
The horn did never go. And that could just be an operator issue, but they're calling for the jump. So we're going overtime.
So we're going overtime. Yeah, very interesting end to regulation only because they put .4 seconds on the clock. It looks like there was going to be a clean inbounds, and we just saw it waved off by the official down low. So it seems like they maybe conversed and decided no, that they didn't want to put any time left on the clock, that it was not worth putting .4 seconds on the clock. It was too close when that ball rang out of bounds.
Before the tip, we'll throw it down to Allie Crewman.
Thanks, guys. Since 2003, only one final Empire 8 final game has gone to overtime, and that was back in 2007 when Ithaca played Elmira. Now, Ithaca walks away with that win. That's a 97-92. So we'll see if the Bombers can repeat history today. Back up to you guys.
Ithaca won the opening tip. This one comes to Fisher. It's Bezdin looking up top for Velasco. She's played a long game. Going to the rim, that's good. And speaking of a long game, you got to wonder, how is Allie Minich's right knee?
It's a good point. She's played a lot of big minutes here for Ithaca in the second half. You got to hope that that knee's okay for another 4 minutes and 30 seconds because they're going to need her to take some big shots here.
Ithaca had one overtime game this year, which they won in double overtime against Utica. Fisher has not played an overtime game this year. That shot's no good. 81-79 the score. Cusack brings it up. It's Bezdin on the near side. Now Velasco. Moving to her right. Guarded by Kotroop. It's a mismatch, and the speed is going to win it. Velasco up and under. 4-point game, under 4 to go. Klee gets it over to Minich. Back to Klee. Pick right from Kotroop. Drops it back to Raschuti. Raschuti guarded by Cusack. Off glass, no good. Rebound Fisher again. 3:30 to go. Cusack running the floor. Now steps back, draws the double. Over to Velasco. Down the corner, Bezdin. No good. Sam Klee knocks it right to a Fisher player. Up top to Velasco. They were set 3:24 to go. Can run it under 3 minutes in this possession. Shot clock, 3 seconds up. Velasco, deep three, not even close. Kerry Steele will inbound. 3:12 to go, and possibly for the Bombers a chance to recollect themselves. Velasco and Cusack combined at 59 points. 24 combined for the rest of the team.
They've been that catalyst offensively for the team, and Cusack's just been unbelievable
Inside to Raschuti. No good. Bombers can't get a layup. The carry steal ties it up. Jump ball, possession of the Bombers. Could that be the hustle play they need to put a spark in it?
Well, they've done that a lot throughout this tournament. Last night against Nazareth, and today against Fisher, being able to get in there and force the jump ball and keep the possession here with the Bombers.
Raschuti with the inbound. Troop. Looking for a pass to Klee. She gets it. 25 on the shot clock. 2:52 on the game clock. Raschuti. Guarded by Cusack. Crossover. In the lane. No good. Rebound comes out. Troop squeezes it between 5 players. Kicks it back to Klee. No good. Rebound Mary Kay Cusack.
A couple of big missed shots here for Ithaca. Haven't exactly found the way to find the basket here in overtime.
They may need a defensive play to get it going. Bezin. Up top. Carney. Now to Cusack. Up top, Velasco, 5 on the shot clock. Drives, underhand, no good. Rebound, Troop. We're at 2 to go. Bombers down 4. Sam Klee. To Troop. To Minich. Calls for the screen, doesn't use it. Step back from the baseline, no good. Rebound Fisher, time's ticking away. 1:50 to go.
Ithaca hasn't been able to find a point here in overtime thus far, Alex. Could be very crucial as we narrow down under 1:40 to go here in overtime.
Bezin. Turnaround, gives it back to Velasco. Drives, up and under, no good. Rebound, Troop. Now neither team can get it to fall. Klee in the lane, that one's good. We're down a 2-point game.
Ithaca finally being able to find the net here.
After Fisher scored on the first 2 possessions, nobody scored till that last one.
Yeah, with under now 1:10 to go, down by a pair is Ithaca.
Bezin, over to Bloomstein. Velasco. Top to Carney. Cusack. 6 on the shot clock. Guarded by Klee. Kicks it back. Bloomstein. No good from the captain. Rebound and an over the back call. That's going to send the Bombers to the line with a chance to tie it up.
And it keeps getting more interesting here at Ben Light Gymnasium this afternoon. Bombers have a chance to tie it from the free throw line.
Cusack has not yet scored in overtime. She had to pass that one. Remember the last time the Bombers were at the line, Sam Klee had a chance to put the Bombers up 2 in the 79-79 game, missed both. So Troop misses the first. Bombers 0 for 3 on their last 3 trips to the line. They need this one. 83-81, 50.6 to go. Crowd will tell you if she gets it. No good again. And a foul on Ali Raschuti, and that's going to send the Cardinals to the line.
Yeah, 4 huge missed free throws by Ithaca. The 2 by Klee at the end of regulation, and here by Troop with 50.6 seconds to go in overtime. Could have tied the game.
This is a team that struggled from the line in the regular season. Bombers were 6th in the conference, shooting just over 63%. And we have a whistle and a conference.
A lot of conversing from the officials over the last 4 or 5 minutes, whether it was how much time should be on the clock at the end of regulation or here right now about maybe a foul situation.
So we wait to see what's going on. Maybe they're not sure who the foul was on. Not sure what's going on. The official motion towards Ithaca's basket.
Maybe with a discrepancy of how much time is actually on the clock. They changed to 49.6 seconds ago on the game clock.
First one of the 1-and-1 is good. 3-point game. This one would make it a 2-possession game for St. John Fisher with under 50 seconds to go. That one's good. Remember, with about 5 minutes to go, the Bombers subbed their starters in. That was the last substitution either team made. Both teams clearly very tired. Raschuti in a timeout for the Bombers and Dan Raymond. He has 1 left.
Got to think a good timeout there by Dan Raymond. He's taking a lot of good timeouts this afternoon, but with 43.8 seconds to go, down by 4, you got to set something up to get a quick 2 points, and then maybe foul or see what happens on an inbounds and try to get the ball back again.
Tense moments inside Ben Light Gymnasium right now. We'd like to thank you for joining us on ICTV. Bombers Live, Alex Barth and Dan Budick bringing you this Empire 8 championship game. So we wait for the teams to come out of this timeout. 85-81, 43.8 to go. Dan Raymond looks like he's letting his players do most of the talking in the huddle, figure out what they want to do.
Well, this is a veteran moment. What do your veteran leadership say? You know, these seniors could possibly be the last 43.8 seconds of their collegiate basketball career. So a lot going through their heads, but still a game here, down by 4.
If the Bombers lose, they would have a shot at making it to the NCAA tournament, but they would need an at-large bid, and depending on how other expected conference winners do, that will affect that. They are 3rd in the region. So they would need some help if they were to lose this one on Monday.
Yeah, that's why getting this automatic bid is so big for both teams, and both teams really want it here, down by 4 with under 50 seconds to go here in overtime.
Teams have broken the huddle. And it is the same 5 for the Bombers. Sam Klee will inbound from the near side. Looks like to be the same 5 for the Cardinals, which it is. There's the inbound. Klee to steal the 3. That's good! 1-point game. This one will not end.
So you thought they tried to get a quick 2, they try to get a quick 3, and they get it, and they're only down by 1 point.
Portia Velasco bringing the ball up. Mary Kay Cusack, number 4 on the top of your screen, is guarded by Sam Klee. Bloomstein switches back to Bezin, loses control, now has it. Carney, now Cusack. Gets a screen, goes to the bucket. There's a foul, she'll go to the line for 2.
Great job there by Cusack, finding a way to hold the possession till 12.7 seconds, put it up and get fouled. Only up by 1 point here.
Cusack gets the first. She makes this. The Bombers will need a 3. You think they only have 1 possession left. That one is no good. 12 seconds to go. Bombers need 2 to tie, 3 to win. 8 seconds left. Klee into the lane now, steps back. Now drives baseline, 3 to go. We're shooting for the win! No! Doesn't get it! And the St. John Fisher Cardinals are your Empire 8 champions.
Yeah, and it was just that type of shot right there by Ali Rashidi. Tried to put the 3 up for the win. A little short-armed it, maybe a little bit off the front iron, and St. John Fisher, with the help of Mary Kay Cusack, takes home your 2015 Empire 8 championship.
For the first time in 4 years, the Ithaca College Bombers are not the Empire 8 women's basketball champions. The seniors can't pick up the sweep, and now they will have to wait till Monday to find out if they get one last shot at a national championship. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, 7 seasons in a row in the Empire 8 tournament, they pick up a victory. The long season pays off, and they now know they get an automatic bid. And they very well probably would not have had an at-large bid if they did not win this game. So their season gets extended in an overtime win. And it's going to be a tough night for Ali Rashidi in a tough offseason. She was wide open. You can't think the Bombers could have drawn it up any better.
Yeah, great draw, great play on paper. Just Ali Rashidi just short-armed it a little bit, hit the front arm. But she's been so big for the Bombers all year. They're not here without Ali Rashidi, so it's hard to really get on her for that shot. That's just the way it happens sometimes. But under Mary Kay Cusack and Patricia Velasco, this team deserved to win. Cusack was a difference maker today. She did everything right, putting up 40 points, 40-plus points here today. She was tremendous, and a well-deserved win for the St. John Fisher Cardinals.
Coach Ermey fired up down there, as are the Cardinals. Well, the Bombers have to wait on the bench as we get ready for the award presentation for the Empire 8. They will name the all-conference team, the tournament MVP, and present the official E8 title to the St. John Fisher Cardinals. It's going to be a long couple days till Monday for the Bombers then.
Yeah, it's tough to sleep on it because they had their opportunities today. It was such a back-and-forth game. Those 4 big missed free throws, Alex, the 2 by Klee, the 2 by Katrup, You know, you're going to rethink those. If you hit one or two of those, maybe you walk away with the black shirts and the Empire 8 crown, but you can't think of it like that. And obviously, Ali Rashidi at the end, a chance to win the game for the Bombers, not able to come up with it. You know, that's the way it happens sometimes. You can't say enough about how hard these two teams played today, and both teams came out with tremendous effort. Like I said, a great championship game. I don't think you can look for anything else in a championship game here at Ben Light.
Tears visible on both sides, both tears of joy and tears of sorrow. And in a close game, that's going to happen. Both these teams deserve to be in the tournament. It would be great to see them rematch in the tournament. St. John Fisher, the only Empire 8 team to beat Ithaca, they did it twice. Ithaca would obviously love to even that at 2-2. Not only did St. John Fisher beat the Bombers twice, they did so twice in Ben Light Gymnasium.
Yeah, you know, it was just one of those things today where St. John Fisher came out and they played great basketball, and Mary Kay Cusack really was unstoppable for 95% of regulation. Ithaca, it was too little too late to stop her, and they couldn't do it when it mattered the most. But in overtime, just Ithaca got off to a very slow start, if you remember. They didn't score until 3.5 minutes into the overtime period, and it ended up costing them.
Shouldn't be all gloom for the Bombers. Yes, they do lose 4 talented seniors, but that's only 4. There are a lot of teams that would lose a lot more. They will have a lot of talent back next year and will likely make another run as they look to make it 4 of 5. As we're just moments away now from the presentation ceremony. We take a look at some of the highlights from this game, and Mary Kay Cusack, one shy of a school record. She's played a great game. She had a school high, team high 41. Next closest player was Kerry Steele with an Ithaca high 20. We now throw it down to the floor for the Empire 8 presentation ceremony.
And now we would like to acknowledge the member of the 2015 champion, the St. John Fisher Cardinals. Number 2, Emily Piachettini. Number 3, Portia Velasco. Number 4, Mary Kay Cusack. Number 5, Brooke Stevens. Number 10, Claire Walsh. Number 11, Megan Irving. Number 12, Alan Loder. Number 14, Sydney Blumstein. Number 15, London Cunningham. Number 20, Larissa Mayer. Number 22, Mackenzie Beasley. Number 23, Carolyn Robertson. Number 24, Bridget Carney. Number 25, Jessica Rome. And number 31, Nicole Robinson. Assistant coach Alvin and Shelby Lehman. And head coach Marianne O'Connor Ernie. And now for the presentation of the championship trophy by Ithaca College Director of Athletics Susan Bassett and Ithaca College Assistant Athletic Director and Tournament Director Michelle Manning. Will the captains of the St. John Fisher Cardinals please come forward to accept the 2015 Empire 8 Women's Basketball Championship flag. Congratulations to St. John Fisher on an outstanding season and tournament. Best of luck at the NCAA tournament. The Empire 8 and Ithaca College would like to thank you for your attendance in support of its student athletes at today's championship. And please, drive home safely.
And I think no question, player of the tournament, Mary Kay Cusack, today alone, she was outstanding.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. Mary Kay Cusack did a lot. She did so much offensively. 41 points officially for her on the day, Alex, and I think she just did so much to really be the catalyst for this team offensively. We talked about Patricia Velasco. She was great too. But when it came down to it, Cusack was the difference maker. And Ithaca had their opportunities, took advantage of some, but ultimately Cusack was too much to really overcome. 41 points from her and an Empire 8 championship for the Cardinals.
Nothing to be ashamed of, though, for the Bombers. They played great all day, stayed in it. And there were a couple times missed 4 free throws down the stretch.
That was huge. That was huge.
And a slow start may have done it in. We now throw it down to the floor where Allie Crewman is with the winning coach. Allie.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with head coach of St. John Fisher. So it's their first time winning since 2006. What's going through your mind right now?
The girls are very, very happy, and they worked very hard this year. Now it's probably a cliche, but we had a lot of good people working over the summertime, and a lot of good team chemistry, and everybody sharing the ball. And obviously, you saw tonight why MK's in the top in the league, and Portia Velasco too.
Can you talk about Mary Kate's role tonight? She had over 40 points in the game.
Well, she told me that before this weekend started that she was not going to allow us to lose again. She was not going to let the seniors lose. So they have a lot of intestinal fortitude, and we're looking forward to going to the NCAA for a very long time.
And who do you see as your biggest competition going to the NCAA tournament?
I have no idea who we play. Whoever we play, we'll play, and we'll get ready for them. These girls are pretty resilient, and people that are seeing us have trouble with our speed. I mean, it's hard playing against the same people all the time because they know your little nuances. We've got a lot of different things available. Whoever we play, we'll be excited to play them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Now down to Steve Altieri with the winner of tonight's game. She had over 40 points in tonight's game, Mary Kate Cusack. Instead, we're going to go back up to Alex Barth and Dan Budick.
And I think Steve's with Mary Kay Cusack now. Steve, take it away.
I'm here with Mary Kay Cusack, who you just scored 41 points in the Empire 8 championship game, named the Empire 8 tournament most outstanding player. How does that feel in this game to score that many points to lead your team?
I mean, it feels amazing. We've been working so hard as a team, and I wouldn't have done it without them, so I'm just thrilled.
And the Ithaca Bombers have won 3 straight Empire 8 titles. You guys just knocked them off, beat them. How does that feel against such a tough opponent?
I mean, they're a great team, so we're really proud of ourselves. We beat them in the regular season, so we knew we could do it. It was just all about coming together in the end, and that's what we did. So.
Thank you and congratulations. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Steve. That's going to do it for us for the season for Bombers Live. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it was a great season of basketball, a great season of football too. In the fall with Ithaca beating St. John Fisher, you know, ironically, and taking home the Empire 8 championship for football. But you know, they did a lot today. They had a great season, but ultimately the Cardinals were too much for them. Mary Kay Cusack was too much for the Ithaca College Bombers women's basketball team today. She had an outstanding performance, and you heard her say she couldn't have done it without her teammates, Portia Velasco. They had a great season.
And you know, the Ithaca men's team yesterday fell to St. John Fisher in the first round of their tournament. So football, both genders basketball. I know Fisher's looking good in baseball this year. They are on lacrosse. Last year, the lacrosse tournament for men in the finals between Ithaca and Fisher. So it's quite a rivalry between the schools from the city of Ithaca and the city of Rochester.
Yeah, quite a rivalry. You know, in lacrosse, basketball, and obviously we've seen football in the fall. But it was a great championship game, and I don't think you can ask for anything more in an Empire 8 championship game.
That's going to do it for us here for this season on Bombers Live. We'd like to thank everybody in the truck, especially the seniors who worked on their last broadcast today. You guys have been great. For Dan Budick, Allie Crewman, everybody pushing all the right buttons to make us look so good. I'm Alex Barth. We'll see you next year.